culture war in America. This is left versus right, and the stakes are high. This radio station is deeply involved in the fray, and we know many of you are too. We want to find a few who are true culture warriors, fighting the good fight and suffering the slings and arrows of public discontent because of it. So go to this station's website right now to nominate the Salem Culture Warrior of the Year. It's time to honor a few great people. The Answer, STL.com.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at razorbackarmory.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride through the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hovels and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. 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 Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I
Yeah. Good morning this morning. What's the matter? You didn't like that extended Don't Fence Me In part of it? It's Monday morning, people. You know, sometimes things get a little bit out of hand. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, it was too much for us because we were hanging out in here and we were jamming to some brand new music. Listen to this new music I have, Phil. Listen to this. Let me just. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. Come on, people. Everybody needs to dance. Come on. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah, baby. Uh-huh. Guess what, everybody? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
doesn't make much sense. There ought to be law again. Anyone who takes offense
You better not take offense, y'all.
at a day in your celebration.
Dude, where's my volume on this, man? Turn down the volume on your own song, man. It's Phil's birthday, y'all. Come on, everybody. I know you're dancing. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Don't be turning it down, man.
Happy birthday.
Good morning. Egg sandwiches. Better not kick me off, Facebook. Johnson! Yes, bud? It's Phil's birthday. Kick him off. Woo! Phil's the guy who does the Facebook stuff. Get him. Yeah, brother. Happy birthday, Phil.
I just want to say thank you for that presentation. Unlike anything I've ever seen or witnessed or been a part
You've
of.
never had a man dance for your birthday.
Not with egg sandwiches in his hand, I'll tell you that.
Not with egg sandwiches in
No.
hand. Not at all, brother. Don't turn it down. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! See, now you know why I don't wear a tie. You know how it is. The only bad part about this whole thing is that one of these sandwiches is for Mark. But it doesn't have to be. Because after all, this is your life. This is your birthday. And you have a choice. You could have 2 egg sandwiches. And Mark could go suck a doorknob. You know what I mean? And they're still warm.
They're still warm? You just made them?
Well, I didn't just make them, but I have ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know this song was so long. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
man, I was just like tripping out on it. Thing. I was like, wow.
Like, Phil's like, please, let this end. Don't let this dude dance again for me.
That is legend right there, bro.
Dude, it's your birthday, but my watch even came off.
Your watch came
I
off.
was dancing so hard for you.
And Julie Matthews' birthday, too.
I was about to say.
Yeah. 9-9ers.
The 9-9ers.
Yeah.
Julie and her friends in North Carolina are kind of bumming, but
Oh, I know. I was watching her Facebook and friends and stuff, and they're kind of right in the path of it, too. So.
yeah, it's bad. But anyway.
Thank you, Jamie. That was very sweet of you.
Dude,
very nice.
Happy
man.
birthday, man.
I really appreciate that, man. That made having a birthday on a Monday not so bad.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, wow.
Sitting here 6 a.m. on your birthday.
And I love me some egg sandwiches, man.
Dude, well, I know you do,
Hell
but
yeah.
the only thing I didn't put on was bacon because I don't make my egg sandwiches that way. But,
No, you don't need that with eggs, man.
but normally you get an egg sandwich downstairs, right?
I do. The $8 egg McMuffin, yeah, from Coma.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that'll be $8.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 for $8.
2?
Well, see,
right.
I think you want to keep.
Yeah, I think Mark's going hungry
Mark
today.
doesn't even deserve. I mean,
Going
I
hungry.
made one for him just to say I did, but really in my heart, in my mind, I was making it for Phil. I was making Phil's second one. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. I can eat 2 of them, too.
All right, man. Here you go.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Oh, by the way, here.
You're going to stretch.
No, here. I'm gonna stretch.
That cord, I mean.
Oh, I was about to say. I was like,
You just did your calisthenics.
I just
really.
stretched, dude. What you talking about? Here, I'll send a picture. You could show people a picture of your. You know, I'm not doing this for my own aggrandizement here. I'm just doing this because. Let's see. Let's just do here. Do that. Here, I sent you a picture of your own egg sandwich.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's like sending you a picture of your own ectocardiogram or whatever it is.
Right.
What do they call those things?
I think that's it.
Ectogratogram. Here you go.
I got it. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it, Jamie. Really do, brother. Thank you so much, man.
And you know what? Those are going to be good. And by the
Oh,
way,
I know your egg sandwiches are good. I've had them.
Are you? Is this the? Can I say like the? Are you one of those people or
No. 51.
Oh,
Big Fit 5'1".
the big 5'1".
Yeah.
Look at you, man.
Yeah, right.
My brother one time told me this very haunting thing, and I'll never forget it because my brother's like that, and it's something you would say, but he was like, man, if you make it through your 50s, you're good. It's like, oh, thanks, man. Ever since he said that, I've been having, septic shock and, fences bear into my front of my leg and all that stuff.
Bird feeders attacking your
Yeah, man.
foot.
Yeah, I mean, so, and all other stuff. It's like, really? But that's all I've been thinking about. And it was like when I turned 50, practically, I think he said that. So I've had 6 years so far of like, I remember what my brother said. I just need to make it through my 50s. Jackass. He would do that to me, too. He's the guy, my brothers, who would basically, I just grew up being abused by two older dudes my whole life. And so they used to like, my brother would say, like when we go golfing, they like and you ought to try this if you're a golfer. I'm really not a golfer, but you ought to try it sometime if you are one and you go on to these insufferable tournaments things or whatever else. Is you ought to say like when somebody's just when somebody's about to tee off, ask him like, do you breathe in or do you breathe out when you tee off? And then suddenly like, I don't know. I don't know whether I breathe in or breathe. And then suddenly you're in their head. My brothers know how to do that like really well. I never learned that whole manipulation thing, but I learned how to deal with it. Let's put it that way. Like I never could pick up on my brothers and how they like they knew all these gamesmanship things, how to do that stuff. I never learned how to do that, but I learned how to deal with people who do that. But nonetheless, what happens is all of a sudden you're like, I don't know. I think I breathe in. I don't know. Do I breathe in or do I breathe out? And then suddenly like, and you shank the ball. It's like into the other fairway. So anyway, that's how that goes. Good morning this morning. Well, we've got lots to cover, lots of ground to cover this morning, including, I don't know whether you guys managed to see the Facebook post on my newest endeavor. Can't get my watch back on either, man. Anyway, I'll worry about that later in the off times. Good morning. Yeah, we've got so much to cover because, first of all, we've got this continued trolling of President Trump, especially over the Taliban thing. So we're gonna focus in on that a little bit. We've got the that post I put up about the skiing champion and some of the stuff that is a problem. And this is a situation where there's a thing called Safe Sport. And Safe Sport, have you heard of that? You saw the thing? It was mandated by Congress. It's supposed to like monitor athletes and athletics and coaches and stuff like that. You saw what happened with the gym thing. And so suddenly, there's this guy who's just, out there, out in the open, water skiing. He's a water skiing championship. He just won out in California. Who got a 90-day suspension for something that probably if that were in a report of mine, I'd probably be arrested. But he's water skiing. So, I mean, it's really pretty amazing. So I'll get into that because we're going to kind of unravel that throughout the week. We got Pope Francis mouthing off again. This time over this. I'll have to consult with Father Tom on this, but this is, again, on the loss of biodiversity. I wish this guy would focus more on the more on the matters at hand. Like, oh, you're the Pope. Instead of this kind of stuff, political stuff, but he's involved in it, so we'll follow up on that. We got the Air Force now. See, if you stay at a Trump hotel, apparently you're in big trouble. So now we have got these Air Force guys being investigated for staying at a Trump hotel while helping with the travel arrangements for the vice president and the president. It's like, come on, man. This is what we're dealing with right now in an economy that Friday, before we had exited the place, and it just came right before I got done with my show. Black unemployment at the historic levels that we've actually never seen before, black unemployment. And that's not being talked about. So it's no wonder you're having all these individuals trying to will a recession. Jim Cramer finally talked about that. We've got him coming up. And we've got, he's not going to be on the show, but he's going to kind of be on the show because I'm going to put him on the show, but not in an interview. You're going to hear his voice. Don't be all nitpicky with me. I'm telling you, it's Monday morning. I'm ready to rock here. And your phone calls are welcome, too, 844-855-1380. It's the calltammy.com real estate listener line. And I have to go, hold on a second here. I got to get my national anthem. We already played the national anthem for today, and that is Happy Birthday. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So I got
Johnson must have been sleeping in because we made it through that one.
I can't believe that. That's so nice of them. I think that the group has a heart. But it's kind of should we go? No, Johnson. It's Phil's birthday. I guess I'm feeling a little bit misty-eyed.
What, Booth?
I'm feeling a little bit misty-eyed. Well, was my dad's birthday. Something goofy. Well, it was my Grandpa Johnson's birthday. Just named after you, Johnson. And she made the best rhubarb pie. Just made me cry. September 9th was her birthday. So leave him alone, I guess.
Yes, Booth.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
More Allman in the morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still looking at a wide open morning out there. No accidents, no delays of any kind. We do have road work, though, coming up today, 9 to 3, on westbound 255 on the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. And really, road work is the only thing we're looking at right now. We've got the exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street closed with road work until the end of the month. And the exit from eastbound 70 to Madison, that remains closed with road work until the end of the month. But everything else right now is still wide open. It's a great start to Monday. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
There's a place for you at St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
This AccuWeather Ready storm preparedness tip is brought to you by Duracell. When a power outage or storm occurs, it's essential to prep your home, devices, and appliances from any further damage. Disconnect appliances and electronics to avoid permanent damage from electrical surges or water flooding. Rely on battery-powered devices until the power returns or the storm subsides.
When you trust Duracell, there's no such thing as a power outage.
Available at the Home Depot.
Lowe's sells more appliances than anyone else. So when it's time to update your kitchen or laundry room, we're here to help you do it right to get the appliances right for your style and your budget. Shop today and save over $600 on a Samsung front-load laundry pair featuring steam and a champagne finish for just $1,396. Plus, get up to 40% off select appliance special values. Whatever you need to make updates to your home today or any day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through September 11th. U.S. only.
You love that smell. That new truck smell. All cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at customcarandtruck.com.
Allman here for a longtime Common Sense Radio supporter, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all three of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is compromising their smartphone. That's why LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com and use promo code RISK to get 10% off your first year.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, baby. Oh, I love you so. 16 candles make a lovely light.
Is the bridge too far?
But not as bright.
Or do you think? I don't know. Good morning, this one again. You know, folks, let me tell you something. The news media will never end in its continued attacks on President Trump and beyond. It just becomes so nitpicky and so crazy. And so we're going to follow up on a few things that the news media happens to be doing. One of them is over this whole Ireland hotel thing. It's so unbelievable. And now apparently we have these we have these Air Force guys who are now the Air Force is now ordering a review of all international layover stays following bookings at the Scotland resort in the Trump resort. So this is all a result of the House Oversight and Reform Committee. Honestly, do you really believe that anybody of any kind of stature really cares about this kind of stuff regarding who's staying at whose hotel? Especially as black unemployment's at its all-time low and the economy's humming, and Jim Cramer on CNBC saying, stop talking about the recession. Nobody else is. Why are you talking about it? That's Jim Cramer, for crying out loud. But and by the way, I saw my first Mayor Pete bumper sticker. It was on a one of those little those little cars, those little tiny cars. No, it wasn't a smart car, but it was almost. It was like one of those little tiny vehicles. But it had a mayor. It just said Pete. It's like, yeah, right. Can you imagine Pete versus Trump? Unbelievable. Bring it on. We'll follow up on this. Plus, Mark Hastenson. It's Common Sense Radio. Happy Monday.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Secretary of State Pompeo says the ball is in the Taliban's court after President Trump called off a planned Camp David meeting with Taliban officials. They were going to talk about a peace deal, but Mr. Trump canceled the sit-down after a Taliban bombing that killed an American service member and 11 other people. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he is confident a new Brexit deal can be reached, one that would allow the UK to leave the European Union by the October 31st deadline. Searchers continue looking for 4 crew members missing after a cargo ship overturned, caught fire off the coast of Georgia over the weekend. 20 other people were rescued from that vessel. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory. Right now, Dow futures up 58 points. S&P futures 8 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still wide open on the roads. Nothing going on this morning with the exception of our ongoing roadwork projects. Those aren't going anywhere. 255 northbound at Route 157, a right lane closed until the 27th of November. And 44 eastbound, still that roadwork before 270 usually causes delays during the morning drive. And that's in place until the end of the year. 44 eastbound roadwork between Hampton and Grand Boulevard also until the last day of the year. And 44 westbound, Jefferson to before Hampton, same thing, roadwork until the end of December. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Yes, everybody, Rhino Shield. Yes, indeed, you never have to paint again when you use this beautiful ceramic coating known as Rhino Shield. It is lasting, 25 years at the very least, because they've got a 25-year transferable warranty. I don't know that you can get that on anything these days, except, of course, like the James Hardie fiber cement siding or something like that. But this is about you beautifying your home with the ceramic coating brought to you by Darren and his team at Rhino Shield. And what you're doing is it's 3 times as hard as paint. It looks like a fresh coat of paint. Every time you put it on there, when you see it, not every time, but when you put it on your home or your business or whatever else you want to put it on. There are pictures up there at 87725rhino.com where you could see a hog farm that uses it because of its waterproofing qualities. It's 100% waterproof. It's 90% deflective of UV rays. So insulation-wise, your money there. So you can't go wrong with Rhino Shield and what Rhino Shield can do for you. So here's the deal. You can put it on exposed brick or on stucco, whatever it happens to be, you're in. It, again, has that transferable warranty. And for vacation homes, it's great because it's totally maintenance-free. Never have to paint again, as I say. And Darren's working on through the time it's sleet and snow, basically. And so this stuff does have a temperature issue. So if it suddenly drops to below, 20, it's not going to be happening for you. But I'd go ahead and do it now. If you're on the fence about what you want to do, if you're like, I don't know, should we do it, and not have to worry about it for springtime, Darren likes to move his trucks. And so you're going to get some great pricing right now on Rhino Shield. 87725rhino.com or 87725rhino.
No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is compromising their smartphone. That's why LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com and use promo code RISK to get 10% off your first year.
Dennis Prager explains what the left is doing to America.
The left has removed God from American life. The left is removing liberty wherever possible. And e pluribus unum, out of many one, they consider that to be white nationalism. We had it too good, and for people to find meaning in life, they have opted to destroy.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. News, opinion, insight. Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Everybody, good morning this morning. The sandwichless Mark Hasen, come on in, buddy. Man, you had a sandwich for like 5 seconds. You had an egg sandwich, like it was in the palm of your hand. It was within your grasp. It was right there. It was right there in front of you.
That's a shame, too, because I love those sandwiches.
Excuse me. This is called Allman in the Morning. It was right there. I'm just kidding. It was right there. And yet, you snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. As Phil said, no, I'm gonna eat that. And he used the term, I'm gonna.
Probably mailed it to Trump.
I'm gonna eat that, he said. Didn't even use 2 words. I'm gonna eat that. And you know what? I had to give it to the birthday boy, 51 years old today.
I've had the sandwich before. It's outstanding, and I can just enjoy it in my memory.
Yes. Yes.
It works fine.
And it was all still warm and everything, man. I had my way of doing things, so it was all like ready to go. But I think that's a metaphor for the future of the Democratic Party today. I did see yesterday my first Pete bumper sticker, which looked so pansy, especially on the car it was on, one of these baby cars. And it wasn't even on a Prius, which, a Prius compared to this particular car is like a 67 Cadillac with fins. That's how pansy this little car was, and had Pete on it, like this little Pete.
You mean like one of those little Mercedes smart cars that one person can barely fit in?
Almost. It was almost. There's one that's one step above it. It's like a Mini Cooper, but it's tinier than a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I like those Mini Coopers. They're nice.
Well, at one point I thought they were kind of cool until they were totally not. Then I was like, no. I was like, no.
I think I'll go get a Carmen Ghia.
Oh, yeah, that's even better.
Those are nice.
All right, so black unemployment is historic lows. Please see if you can dismantle that. Thank you very much.
Well, so easily.
How?
Because there are charts that you can find all over the internet from the United States government that show that the income of black people versus white people is plunging. The jobs that they've got, they've got jobs, okay, like $5 an hour, not even minimum wage. I mean, they're making nothing. They're being destroyed. All this talk about how great it is, if you look at the numbers, they're getting massacred.
What numbers are you where are you drawing these? Where are you getting charts?
Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Right.
I know. Deep State, they're lying. I understand. I know how this works.
Probably.
Yeah.
Those guys.
No, really, their income is dropping dramatically because the jobs they've got are worthless
Right.
jobs that
I
no
know.
one would do.
Right. I remember this, and and you talk about memory. This is what I remember when Bush was president, and something good would happen with the economy, and it would always be like the quality of the jobs mattered. Like when Obozo was president, the quality of the jobs never mattered. It was like, oh no, come on, people are unemployed. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, and now it's back to the Bush era. Yeah, but the jobs themselves aren't really quality jobs. It's like that's the thing we're hearing. The issue is, though, do you really think that a black person who's employed after not having had access to the market for as long as some people in certain areas have had, do you really think that that's their thing, that's the thing that's bothering them, that you could go to the inner city today and hear somebody complaining about the quality of their job?
If white earnings are going this way and black earnings are going this way, which is what you get on the chart, then what are you talking
is
about?
That really from the labor statistics
It really
Bureau?
is. I sent it to you in the past, like about a month or two ago. It's in your text message file that you throw away because it's just not the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you took a Sharpie and you made
exactly
you
right.
made the cone bigger.
That's the
when
point.
It's talked about the wages issue.
That's exactly.
I don't think people are. I don't think that's going to be your argument. Although we do have your friend Don Lemon over there. Apparently took a break from getting a snoutful, and was on the air talking about. And this is another thing we keep hearing. And Lemon's made this kind of his thing where he talks about how the black voters should be, and this is what was called racist, which I don't believe is racist. When Deborah Messing talked about how black voters have to be mentally ill, I really don't. I don't see how that's really racist to me when you say that. I get it. It's things people say. I don't see how that's racist. So I'm not playing that Deborah Messing, is a racist thing. But this whole idea of trying to guilt blacks into voting against Trump and not following him was perpetrated by none other than Don Lemon here on the on this computer here. Check this out.
Okay, so let me just, because I'm going to put, if you can put those back up, just so you know. So under Obama, as you said, March 2010, 16.8%. End of his presidency, 7.9%. That is a difference of 8.9%. Okay? So Trump's highest was 8%. That was in February of 2017. Now it's at 5.5%. That is down 2.5%. So we have 8.9% in the Obama presidency and down by 2.5% in this presidency. As you said, it is good news. It is a good trend, but it didn't start under this president, and the numbers actually declined much stronger under the former president. How do black voters in 2020 weigh these low employment numbers against the president's racist behavior, Joseph? Charlottesville, slamming Baltimore, Rhode.
Yeah, okay. So I got to hand it to Don Lemon. He actually can navigate numbers, which is good. But this idea somehow that and this has been a problem in the black community for some time now, which is it's the soft bigotry of low expectations. And this is a typical example of why blacks don't succeed in this country, because other blacks put them down. This Don Lemon thing right here is probably one of the quintessential reasons why blacks do not succeed in America when they could, is because they have some Don Lemon in their neighborhood or in their house telling them, you can't do that. You being playing that kind of game. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I really disagree.
Yeah, you do.
Completely. And the reason why is because systemic racism is far more dangerous than some guy who happens to be a bigot. This country is a racist country. It's not like I'm mad at the country. We've got a problem that goes back to the beginning, and we're never fixing it, and that is troublesome. And if you want to fix that, then let's go do it. And you can do it by starting in the inner cities, which you certainly, I know you support that. And where's any of that happening? Because we're too busy, as you point out, drawing Sharpie maps and he still won't give up on that. He's still arguing about it this morning.
Why should he? When the Weather Service, when all he's doing is trying to warn people. We spent an entire week listening to these harpies in the news media tell us how this hurricane was going to descend on Florida and batten down the hatches. Hell, Fox News even had its own set made for Hurricane Dorian. So the idea that the president is saying, hey, you know what? This could squeak on into Alabama because let me tell you something. You know Canada got the hurricane? It went to Canada for crying out loud.
And here's what he could do, but he just doesn't have it in his brain because he's so, I don't know. Let's not even do that. Here's what he could do. He could go to the Bahamas and he could help the people in the Bahamas.
Our president doesn't belong in the Bahamas.
Not throw paper towels at people. He could go to the Bahamas. He could actually help them, transfer gasoline to people. He could, pick up those gas cans, and he could just actually do some work.
My president does not belong in the Bahamas.
Then he could go.
I don't want my president in the Bahamas.
Then he could go all the way up the coast and help everybody.
And you slipped in that whole paper towel thing. That was totally overblown. He wasn't throwing paper towels at people. This idea, had Obama done the same thing, he would have been suggested for sainthood, for crying out loud. Everything that dude did was given kid glove treatment. So that I know what you're talking about with that. I don't even know. I can't remember what hurricane it was, but it was the president trying to help people.
The Puerto Ricans are still talking about.
Oh, the Puerto Ricans aren't still talking about it.
Oh, they
still
are.
talking about their corrupt government.
Yeah,
are they talking about those guys?
They are. And look, I had one of the top people from Puerto Rico on the air here about 2 weeks ago, and he's back and forth between Puerto Rico and
what does one of the top people from Puerto Rico look like?
Political people in Puerto Rico who run for offices and win and are part of the revolution over there. If
somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I know you have 4 hours of radio to do. Would you like to have one of the top people from Puerto Rico on your show?" I'd be like, "No."
It's the United States.
It's the
United States. It's the United States of America.
I'm for Puerto Rican statehood. Okay, so you're talking to a guy who doesn't mind if Puerto Rico becomes the 53rd state, according to Barack Obama.
Right.
I don't mind.
Puerto Ricans are.
I like them. Right.
They're
Some of my best friends are Puerto Rican. I get
that's
it.
all right. They're us.
But still, I don't. They're not a state yet. First of all, they're a territory.
They're American citizens.
Did you see what happened to some of the other top people in Puerto Rico? They were sent to jail,
and they've been arrested. There.
Let me ask you this: Jim Cramer. Do you like Jim Cramer?
Not really.
Why?
Because I know too much about what he does and the little game he plays on TV, which is fine.
What do you mean the little game he plays on TV?
Look, he's a good TV guy.
He's money guy.
Yeah, he's problematic.
Right. Well,
I wouldn't follow anything he says. Trust me.
Right.
But he's fine on TV.
Okay. Here's what he says about he is on the Squawk Box here, and here he is talking about the economy.
Both sides now are in a position where they're both willing to give a little bit to come to an arrangement, or are they both more set in their ways, you think?
Well, I think that President Trump is set in his ways because he doesn't see any weakening. I mean, look at the jobless report today. Someone earlier said that manufacturing is in recession. Well, manufacturing's been in recession in this country for ages. What I'm surprised at is how strong the consumer is. I think that the Chinese still need it more than we do. I know when I say that, everyone just says, well, wait a second, that's a nice bias that you're showing. It's statistical. I just think that our economy is very strong.
I can tell you that is something that President Trump feels like he feels like China is in. They want to make a deal because they're hurting more than we're hurting. I think that's a fact.
If we got the Fed to lower rates to where the bond market says it should be, then I think that I really wouldn't worry about a recession. I think the only people really talking about a recession is us.
Yeah, and that's Jim Cramer. Now, Jim Cramer is, as much as I've almost wanted him to, and like, whoa. I wish he'd be more political, whatever. I've never heard Jim Cramer be political before. I've never heard him opine on something that was going to help or hurt a president. And yet, here he is on this Squawk Box thing talking about how the only people talking about a recession are us. I mean, and now it'd be different if Kramer constantly talked politics and constantly talked about Trump and this and that. But the reality is this is a rarity, and that should mean something.
He pretty much sticks with the stock market, which is good. That's his program, and that's what he should do. There's a little bit of a shell game going on there from time to time. However, I'm not saying he's stupid. And this business about how strong our economy is, if he were here, we would have a conversation that your eyes would glaze over and you'd say, okay, let's go to a break, because it would bore you, but it would also be very significant in terms of what the Fed really is doing and what they should do and what they could do in the face of what's happening around the world. Because if you look at what's going on in Europe and China and Japan, you would know that our country has significant problems in front of it, and it's not being caused by Donald, but I can't wait until they wrap it right around his neck. They will.
Right. You didn't answer the question. You just went on about Russia, and what did you say? You even mentioned Germany in there, I think, somewhere. You're talking about eyes glazing
Europe.
Over. Okay. Well, here's the thing. As Jim Cramer pointed out, the consumer strength is out of this world right now. Consumer confidence. You can go on a Monday afternoon. I guarantee you that mall over there, in spite of the fact that it's infested with people who just hopped off the criminal import station terminal, is you can't find a parking space over there.
Yeah.
Consumers are going crazy.
It's a lagging indicator. Consumer confidence is a lagging indicator. So stop watching it. It's not doing you any good.
Okay, thank you very much. Because, I guarantee you, when it's down, it's headline news. You get a siren on Drudge Report. 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com. Real estate listener line is Common Sense Radio.
Call the show at 844-855-1380 and interact with Jamie on the calltammy.com listener line. That's 844-855-1380. More Allman in the Morning next on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We picked up our first problem of the morning on the roads. 270 northbound, a disabled box truck is blocking the right shoulder after Dorset Road. We can see it from the jam cam there on 270. So a little bit of a problem there, but even that's not causing any delays at this hour. We've got midday road work coming up today, 9 to 3 on westbound 255 on the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. Everything else, though, looking pretty good. Road work closes 2 lanes on 370 in both directions between Earth City Expressway and Highway 94 till the end of the month. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is compromising their smartphone. That's why LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com and use promo code RISK to get 10% off your first year.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Saturday mornings at 9 are now all about the house. Do you ever wish you could get an hour with a general contractor or building inspector to ask all your home maintenance questions? Well, About the House with Troy Galloway is exactly that. Every Saturday morning at 9, Troy Galloway will spend an hour giving home advice and taking your questions. Submit your questions now on Facebook at the Galloway Building Services Facebook page. And tune in to About the House with Troy Galloway every Saturday morning at 9 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Gia Valenti, and I personally invite you to tune into my show, Moxie Minutes with Gia, Saturday mornings at 10 to learn about all things parenting. Moxie Minutes with Gia is the closest you'll get to that manual that doesn't come with your kids. Parenting experts will join me to discuss sleep habits, homework, mental health, and so much more. Submit your questions on Facebook at the Learn with Moxie Facebook page and tune in to Moxie Minutes with Gia every Saturday morning at 10. Brought to you by Gold Shield Security, real police officers who are there when you need them.
Hi, this is Dr. Vadan. Join me on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about your health, things to get you from awareness into action and how to change your life in a way that's never been discussed before so that you can then figure out exactly what's going on for you to best suit your lifestyle to get you back to doing the things that you need to do, want to do, and love to do within your life. So join me, Dr. Vadan, on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
This is Michael Medved at michaelmedved.com for Town Hall. American conservatives who view Israeli elections on September 17th as a simple yes or no on Prime Minister Netanyahu will miss the underlying good news about the electorate. Polling shows complete collapse of the Israeli left. The secular Socialist Labor Party that dominated the first 30 years of Israel's modern history will barely win 5% of the new Knesset. All left-leaning parties, including the Joint List that represents Israeli Arabs, draw a combined total of only a fourth of the voters. Even the centrist Blue and White Party that is challenging Netanyahu's Likud for national leadership is decidedly conservative by historic standards, led by former generals. Despite the distracting headlines about Netanyahu and corruption charges against him, the Israeli public shows growing commitment to free markets, religiosity, and a strong security policy. Whatever the final results, the voters have undeniably moved to the right. I'm Michael Medved.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
In the midst of all the uncertainty around us, we all need a refuge, a place to call home. Come home to St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at razorbackarmory.com.
If you want to be successful in business, surround yourself with good people. If you want to be a successful contractor, then you've got to team up with the right supplier. Rick Pogue here. Arrowhead Building Supply understands the minute your day starts, time is money. With our exclusive 315 service platform, we offer 3-hour delivery to your job site or 15-minute pickup on anything in stock, be it siding, roofing, decks, windows, doors, gutters, or even stone. By the way, you will talk to a real person when you call Arrowhead. No voicemail. Call or stop by the location near you and let us help you grow your business today. Arrowhead Building Supply.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Refugee camp, conspiracy theory, why? Why? You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true.
You know, Marcation, I don't know what happened to the whole gun control thing, but usually now we've gotten kind of used to it. The pattern is pretty strong for those of us on the more conservative side is we just give you guys like 48 hours to temper tantrum, and then you give up. It's really great. I mean,
I gave up a long time ago because there's no winning on the gun issue. It's impossible.
I like that.
No, it's I've said this all along. You know, I would like to take everybody's gun and allow the police to have a gun and a body camera to make sure they're not breaking the law, which they would do otherwise. And then we'd all be fine. But that's not what we're going to do. So why waste our time on it? People love their guns, and they love the results, I guess, that come from their guns, which is mass murder. But I can't control it.
I have a lot of guns, and none of them have ever resulted in mass murder.
No, you don't do it.
But I have to say, I really like your can't-do attitude.
Yeah. It's a
old-fashioned
losing
American
battle.
can't-do attitude.
Yeah.
Roll up your shirt, says, we can't do that.
That's right. All you have to do is read.
See Mayor Pete get out there going, we can't do that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just read your book that I gave you from Saul Cornell, all about what the
Is it still over there?
Yeah, because you love me. But the Second Amendment is just not what all these people are saying. 4 members of the Supreme Court say that I am right and that Saul Cornell is right, but 5 say you're right, and that's it. You win.
Yeah, welcome to America.
End of discussion.
Thank God for the Electoral College and everything.
No, that's what happens on the Supreme Court.
I know, but
But
elections have consequences, and sometimes it's a Supreme Court nominee. So I'm just saying, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Look, they're wrong, but you know what? It takes a long time for some of these precedents to get changed back to where they belong, and it's not going to happen next week. So we really need to focus on things that can be done.
Right. So I would go ahead and set your sights on 2026 or 24, because you guys can't do this either coming up in
423 days left, and he is history. We're going to all celebrate together on the way to jail.
Van. Yeah, in a van on the way to prison.
On the way to jail.
Right on. Have a good rest of your day, brother.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump is making it clear he will not pull American troops from Afghanistan before the country is secure and the Taliban changes its murderous ways.
The Taliban say they believe they had finalized a deal with U.S. negotiators, and President Trump's decision to call off talks at Camp David involving the Afghan government has hurt American credibility. But President Trump says it was the Taliban's ongoing attacks, including one in Kabul on Thursday that killed an American soldier, that scuttled the talks.
Correspondent Ben Thomas. 20 people rescued, 4 others still missing after a massive cargo ship overturned and caught fire off the Georgia coast over the weekend. The search for the missing crew members goes on as the huge ship rests on its side just off St. Simon's Island. This Wednesday marks the 18th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on America. Back in 2001, Beverly Bass, the first female captain for American Airlines, was piloting a jetliner from Paris to Dallas-Fort Worth when she heard the initial call from another aircraft that the first World Trade Center tower had been hit.
And then about 20 minutes later, we heard the second tower had been hit. And with that came the word airliner and the word terrorism. And honestly, I couldn't even wrap my brain around what terrorism meant, because that long ago, that was really something that happened somewhere else in the world. We weren't familiar with it on U.S. soil, unfortunately, like we are today.
Beverly Bass was ordered to divert her flight to Gander, Newfoundland, where she and her passengers remained for 5 days. It's all detailed in a new Fathom Events documentary titled You Are Here, which will be in theaters this Wednesday. Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory. Right now, Dow futures up about 50 points. S&P futures better by 8. NASDAQ futures up 14. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We picked up our first problem of the morning on the roads. 270 northbound, a disabled box truck is blocking the right shoulder after Dorset Road. We can see it from the jam cam there on 270. So a little bit of a problem there, but even that's not causing any delays at this hour. We've got midday road work coming up today, 9 to 3 on westbound 255 on the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. Everything else, though, looking pretty good. Road work closes 2 lanes on 370 in both directions between Earth City Expressway and Highway 94 till the end of the month. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
If you don't know it now, wake up and smell the coffee. Hey, we're in a culture war in America. This is left versus right, and the stakes are high. This radio station is deeply involved in the fray, and we know many of you are too. We want to find a few who are true culture warriors, fighting the good fight and suffering the slings and arrows of public discontent because of it. So go to this station's website right now to nominate the Salem Culture Warrior of the Year. It's time to honor a few great people. The Answer, STL.com.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hi, this is Gia, the host of Moxie Minutes with Gia, and you might be wondering why I even do this radio thing. Ultimately, my show is all about communication and education. I founded Learn with Moxie to help our kids to become better communicators in a screen-obsessed world. If you're interested in getting the Learn with Moxie curriculum in your school, contact me at learnwithmoxie.com. That's learnwithmoxie.com. And as always, keep talking.
This portion of the Allman in the Morning Show is brought to you in part by Suntrip Volvo Cars, West County. Visit WCVolvoCars.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise.
One of the top people from Puerto Rico. Golly, never fails. I had one of the top people from Puerto Rico on the show the other day. I'm going, oh, I wish you would have warned me. That whole thing. By the way, the president's going to be holding a rally tonight in North Carolina at 7 o'clock Eastern, so it'd be 6 o'clock your time. And, you know, that's against the backdrop of all hell breaking loose in some parts of North Carolina. The president's going to go down there early. And as you saw, even with the hurricane, I think it was, what was it? It wasn't Katrina. It was something else where President Trump went down there and got his hands dirty and was helping people and everything else. And the fact of the matter is this guy knows how to do this, but he's going to go down there today early, I'm sure, because you don't want to be attacked for having a rally while people are drowning, you know, that kind of thing, because that's what they'll say. And you don't want to be in that situation. So he's going to go down there early, I believe, and do some things. He'll be criticized no matter what, because no good deed goes unpunished for this guy. And this whole Sharpie Gate thing's a perfect example of that. I'm not going to dwell too much on it because last week you heard enough about Sharpie Gate and about him doing what the news media has been doing the entire week, which was warning people. And that whole cone thing, it wasn't even. By the way, it'd be different if it looked like they tried to conceal the fact that they extended the cone, but they didn't even try to conceal it. So it wasn't like it was even a dastardly trick on by any stretch of the imagination. It'd be different if they were tried to erased, whited out part of it. And then, by the way, do you know people still use whiteout? Oh yeah, Natalie has a whole thing of it. She's got a whole little thing. I was teasing her. I was going to take something. No, I'm like, okay, but yeah, they still use whiteout. You believe that? I didn't even know that. God, I remember typing and trying to type and then you screw something up and you white it out with a little thing. You take the little brush and white it out, and then go back and type over it. It's like, it's amazing. The progress we've made. I wasn't a very good typist anyway, but the progress we've made in that realm. But anyway, it wasn't like they tried to white anything out. It was just clearly they drew a further trajectory of where the cone would go. I mean, but you never know where it's going to go. And the Hurricane Center had it stopping right at Florida, And it turns out that was accurate because then it dipped up, as you know. But it wasn't anything the rest of the news media wasn't doing all damn day long, which was telling people to watch out. And again, I told you, Fox News put up a whole damn set for the thing. Their special set they abandoned after talk about evacuations. That was a mandatory evacuation of the Fox News Hurricane Dorian Command Center desk. That was a volunteer evacuation. Anyway, listen, this Rich Lowry dude, I don't have much love for the guy because he was a never-Trumper, but he's back in the fold, I guess because he's selling a book, but I guess I'll take him any way I can. But he's talking about how these people, like the news media, obsessed over this Sharpie thing for a week. I mean, I finally had to address it at some point because it clearly wasn't going away. I was kind of like, are you people still really going to... Now I have to talk about it on my radio show? Because, it's like, okay, well, I'll talk about it, but I'm going to rip you a new one over the thing. But my goodness gracious, it was something I finally couldn't avoid. But Lowry's talking about it here on the
Chris Christie, I think it's entirely possible that first briefing the president had, whatever it was, 10 days.
Which is one of the benefits, by the way. Rich Lowry's back on mainstream media, which is good with his brand new book. And so as long as he's talking pro-Trump, I'm good with that. So there's progress there.
I said, and it might hit Alabama. There's no question that when he tweeted last Sunday, Alabama's going to get hit harder than anticipated. That is flatly just not true. What I don't understand.
These are guys who spent an entire week blowing up forecasts and telling everybody in Florida they were going to die. And now the president says, it could hit Alabama. Oh, no, that's terrible. That's way overblown.
With it for 7 days after that. What is that about?
Well, listen, I think that this president has shown over and over again that he believes that admitting mistakes is admitting weakness. And I don't think it's hard to understand him. People seem mystified by this, and I'm mystified by them. This is who the president of the United States is.
So this is both Chris Christie and Rich Lowry on the same show, which is progress anyway, because, Chris Christie, for all of his faults, is still a remotely common sense guy. So he's on before Rich made the statement.
For 18 years. I want this to be part of the dialogue for 7 days.
Listen, because it drives you guys crazy. But I think, and the media focuses on this instead of focusing on what Ron was just talking about or other issues. We're talking about this before we're talking about Afghanistan and negotiations with the Taliban.
We led with Afghanistan. We'll talk about that.
But my point is, though, that this is what lots of folks in the media talk about, and it's a distraction. And I don't think the president necessarily thinks that distraction is bad for him.
But we talk about it because he's talking about it. He was just relentless in his justification of this. And it wasn't just that he, wouldn't let this go. He's also deploying government resources to help in his argument. And when you're facing, a hurricane of significant consequence.
It's funny how this is the same news media and talk about deploying government resources to make his argument. They do that all day long. To the degree that even when the Weather Service, when the Hurricane Center, I keep on getting it screwed up. I don't know who these people are. But when the hurricane people stopped the hurricane at Florida before it hit it, they still were telling everybody in Florida they were going to drown. So you talk about using government resources to advance something. They were trying to advance their storyline, and they were all in hurricane mode. They were trying to push that to that degree to make this a story when it really wasn't. You didn't know. Even on Friday, I knew that, hey, this wasn't right. This we don't know whether this is actually going to happen or not.
You have to think about, how much time and effort was spent defending the president's argument here versus focusing on some other key issues.
But he's talking about it because you're talking about it. It's like this circle that never ends, and he never allows himself, as Chris points out, the escape route. Oh, it's old information. I revise and extend my remarks. But that the media was analyzing this with the detail of the Zapruder tape was completely absurd, and it was totally lost that the major story was actually a Category 5 hurricane had devastated the Bahamas and was threatening the east coast of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the news media blaming the president because he was talking about it. Actually, the president wasn't talking about that. He showed a map, and it pissed off the media. They went crazy on the thing for an entire week on the whole Sharpie thing. And so I love how the news media blames the president for a story that basically they created. Now, again, I don't know, is there an issue with this whole thing? Because I still don't understand what that is. I still don't get what their point was. Was he lying? No. Did he draw something on an existing weather map from the Hurricane Center of America or whatever the hell it's called? And you know what? I could just check. But I don't want to. It's too much fun trying to come up with what that is. The Hurricane Resource Amalgamation. I don't know. Whatever that is. But did he draw the thing on the cone and it was just simply extending this and projecting, well, this is what happened. If it hits Florida, it'll keep going this way. It's like, okay. You're not a weatherman. It's like, well, no, neither are you, but you guys have been acting like one for the last week. And I love how the president, they're demanding the president somehow apologize for drawing on a map. When these guys have been drawing on maps for the last 4 years trying to find votes that could overturn their election or do whatever, they still can't do it. So I'm glad Rich Lowry's in there. Can't wait for the arrival of Mark Sanford to the race now. Do these people have no concept of, like, Joe Walsh was one thing, and that died fast, and that was easy to see that going south. But Mark Sanford, and I think what's going to happen is they think because Mark Sanford had an affair and was, had a mistress and all that kind of stuff. Well, President Trump's equally this. But one thing President Trump never did, you could talk any way you want about his social life and his family life, which is nobody's business anyway. But Mark Sanford abandoned the governor's mansion. He left office to go and hike in Argentina with his girlfriend. How Mark Sanford thinks that he's going to get anywhere in a race like this by saying, yeah, but President Trump did. It's like, no, President Trump, throughout his entire life, one thing you could say about President Trump is everybody always knew where to find him. And Mark Sanford, of all people, talk about taking some balls to do this kind of thing. Mark Sanford saying, I'm going to run for president, having been a governor who for about 4 days they could never find him. One of those days happened to be Father's Day, when his sons didn't get a call from dad or anything on Father's Day. He didn't even contact them. And this is a guy who thinks he's better than Donald Trump. He's going to be the moral arbiter of our country. He's going to be the guy who's going to run on President Trump's unfitness to be president. Mark Sanford? You got to be kidding me. And he was, of course, all over the TV, and we'll bring you little snippets of that. He, of course, was all over the TV over the weekend because he's the latest love child for the news media because he's an anti-Trump guy. Joe Walsh was on for a while until people were like going, I don't know, never mind. And it's like, yeah. I mean, like a couple of runs through that, they were like, this isn't going to work out. Sanford was all over the place, and I don't know how long this is going to last. And by the way, during any interview, they never mentioned this. Now, again, you can talk all you want about marital malfeasance or whatever it happens to be and question people, that's already been adjudicated through President Trump's world, where he was described as the biggest sinner in the world, but Americans voted him as president because we understand sinning. But I'm not quite sure you can understand, although obviously redemption is a good thing. I'm glad Mr. Sanford's life is back to where it needs to be. I hope he has a relationship with his sons, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not quite sure as a matter of record when you talk about answering a 3 a.m. call. I'll tell you one thing, for 4 days in Carolina, there was nobody in the formulation of the governor of that state who was able to answer a 3 a.m. call because he was in Argentina with some chick and disappeared. This is going to be the easiest primary in the world. And already some states are already saying, no, we're not doing this. Did you hear that? I think back in the day, I think during Bush's time, there were 10 states that just canceled their primaries altogether because they're Trump states. I hope Missouri does, too. That's up to the Missouri Republican Party. I'm not quite sure whether they've got the stones to do that because there's still a lot of never-Trumpers still rolling around in the Missouri Republican Party. But they've canceled their primaries because they're like, why are we going to do this? And some people are like Walsh himself is like, this is anti-American. It's like, no, it's a political party. A political party's not any different than AT&T in this country. I don't know whether you missed that in your civics class or not, but a political party is a corporation. It's not a government entity. And so there's no, if you want to have your primary, then make your own party and do your own primary, everything else. But that's why the founding fathers didn't like political parties all that much, because they knew they were just basically factions. But it is what it is. And it's Trump 2020, 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line.
More Allman in the morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's starting to tighten up a little bit out there, and stalls are part of the problem. 270 northbound, we still have that disabled box truck blocking the right shoulder after Dorset. We can see it from the jam cam. And now 270 eastbound has a stall blocking the right shoulder of the ramp to Lindbergh. And that one we can see from the Lindbergh jam cam. 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend slows. No delays yet westbound. 30 eastbound West Watson to 270. That's still stop and go there. And we've got a delay on 270 northbound. 55 to Manchester, so that one's tight. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Yes, folks, when it comes to your kids being at school now, and you've got a little more free time at home, you don't have the babies trampling all over everything. Well, now you might be saying, hey, now's the time to get your flooring project done. I mean, during the summertime, Michael's Flooring Outlet is traditionally it's kind of a low time because there's so much heavy traffic all over the joint. But if you are kidless for a little while, at least during the daytime, or if you're in a situation where you're now an empty nester because the kids have gone off to college and you're thinking about ways to kind of spruce up your home, you maybe even have a little extra money, or you want to play around, Michael's Flooring Outlet has the perfect answer for you, and that is a nice, good, awesome flooring project brought to you by Michael's Flooring Outlet. He started this business 25 years ago with $700 in his pocket. He said, listen, I'm laying floor. I think I could do this. And you know what? He's got one of the best websites, I'm telling you, in the country in this genre. And you go on to michaelsflooringoutlet.com. First, you see the $500 off coupon. Then you see the amazing, incredible variety that he has there. And some of this stuff you're going to see, like the Shaw and the Armstrong flooring, whether it be the ceramic tiling, whether it be the laminates, whether it be the luxury vinyl, which is really cool, or the real wood, or anything, or the stone, or what have you. Oftentimes that stuff's already in stock. He's ready to go with you. But if it takes a couple more days, that's great. But the reality is he's got the most variety you're going to find. He has a link to all of his reviews online, and he can't manipulate these. So he's got the links to them. You could see it all in living color. He can't change them. And I guarantee you, usually the rating's up at 5. He's up 4.8 or whatever it happens to be. And that's a pretty good situation when it comes to flooring. So impeccable website, impeccably accessible to you, impeccable variety, impeccable pricing, impeccable installation. It's michaelsflooringoutlet.com. That's michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey, it's future you. Ready for that great job with an awesome company? It starts when you join the UPS team in St. Louis or Earth City. UPS has exciting jobs for package handlers, delivery drivers, and CDL drivers, all paying $14 an hour and up. Apply now at upsjobs.com.
Hi, this is Scott Ferguson, the Director of Outreach at St. Matthew. There's something exciting happening at St. Matt's, and I'd like to invite you to experience it. We have a service at 9 a.m. with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra, and our contemporary service at 11 a.m. with our praise band. We can't wait to see you there. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Interested in purchasing a silencer? Stop by and talk to the pros at Razorback Armory, the region's only full-service, silver-level silencer shop dealer. With our state-of-the-art all-digital process, we'll be with you every step of the way. For your account setup, fingerprints, photographs, and federal forms. All are done promptly and professionally in shop while you wait. Stop in and check out our vast selection of silencers and other NFA items at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres, and online at razorbackarmory.com.
Are you a writer who's devoted your time to writing a book with Christian morals behind it but need help to get it published? Maybe you wrote a children's book, your memoirs, a devotional, or a mystery with strong moral values at its core. Covenant Books has helped faith-based authors publish, edit, and sell their books through Christian bookstores and major online book retailers. Plus, if you call now at 800-580-1838, we're offering a free author's information kit to help you through the publishing process. Our experienced and dedicated staff will review and notate your manuscript with an editor's eye. Then our page designers will format your book to create the appropriate experience for your readers. And if needed, Covenant's talented illustrators will bring your book to life. Most importantly, Covenant Books will help tell your story by printing, marketing, and distributing your book through specialty Christian bookstores and major online book retailers like Amazon, Apple, and many others. Covenant Books. Let us help tell your story. For your free author's information packet, call 800-580-1838. That's 800-580-1838. 800-580-1838.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you
I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Sinead O'Connor. As much as people seem to hate her. Because remember, she did a thing with the Pope and everything else, and then wound up.
What was your reaction to that? Ripping the picture of the Pope up
I
on
know.
SNL Live?
For some reason, though, I don't know what it has been. I don't know. Is I have a soft spot in my heart for her. I don't know why.
Yeah, she's a mess right now, bro.
She is a total mess. That's probably why I have a soft spot in my heart for her. Because now she called white people disgusting, and for a while there she was like homeless and all that kind of stuff, and now she's a Muslim. Yep. But still, I'm like, I still feel like her voice is beautiful, and for someone like that to have had that much of a drop. But the good news is she's kind of like away from being homeless now. She's no longer like living in some kind of squalor, which is so sad to me. She's got one of the most beautiful voices in rock and roll.
Oh, her first album is unbelievably good.
I mean, it's
really good. Like, freaked me out good. It was so good.
It's amazing. So I always feel for her, But here she is. She's on the Late Show. She's got her a Muslim garb on, you know.
And how this came about?
The word revert, it refers to the idea that if you were to study the Quran, you would realize that you were a Muslim all your life and you didn't realize it.
It's just waiting to happen to you.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, she's found something that's she can anchor to. As far as I'm concerned, that's good. You know what I mean? I know they say, beware of the man with the new religion. It's like, I get it, but she found something. So, I'd like her to get back to singing is what I'd like her to get back to. Because that's what she's really super good at. And when you watch people like that and you see the trajectory of their lives go the way that did, you can't help but feel for them. And so... Yeah, she was on this late. She was talking, and she's in a full-on Muslim garb and everything. I don't know. She better be careful though, because you don't do that. You don't rip up pictures of Muhammad. I know that. You know what I mean? I don't just. If I had one piece of advice, it's like, don't do to Muhammad what you did to the Pope, because, we are a lot more forgiving than the people who don't like it when you rip up pictures of Muhammad. I'm just telling you. So I wouldn't do. I hope she doesn't go. This would not be a time for her to kind of go off the deep end as a Muslim. You know what I mean? So God love you, Sinead. It's Common Sense Radio.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump is making it clear he will not pull American troops from Afghanistan before the country has been secured and the Taliban changes its murderous ways. 20 people rescued, 4 others still missing after a massive cargo ship overturned, then caught fire off the coast of Georgia over the weekend. The search for the missing crew members goes on as the huge ship rests on its side just off St. Simon's Island. Congress returning to Capitol Hill following its summer break for August. There is growing pressure on lawmakers to address gun-related violence, as well as election security and various other issues. On Wall Street, stock futures pointing to a higher open later on. Right now, Dow futures are up 57 points. S&P futures better by 10. NASDAQ futures up 18 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's starting to tighten up a little bit out there, and stalls are part of the problem. 270 northbound, we still have that disabled box truck blocking the right shoulder after Dorset. We can see it from the jam cam. And now 270 eastbound has a stall blocking the right shoulder of the ramp to Lindbergh. And that one we can see from the Lindbergh jam cam. 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend slows. No delays yet westbound. 30 eastbound West Watson to 270. That's still stop and go there. And we've got a delay on 270 northbound, 55 to Manchester. So that one's tight. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dentistry with TLC, my friends. Dr. Anna Smith is your key here. And Dr. Anna and her team are ready to rock with you. And this is really easy. All you have to do is go to dentistrywithtlc.com. You're going to see a phone number there, and that's a text number. So that it's like having the dentistry office's text number. And all you do is send them a text saying, my tooth aches, or I know I need a root canal, or I need that implant finally, or my gums are bleeding when I'm brushing my teeth, or whatever it happens to be, or I need my teeth straightened and teeth whitened, or whatever. She'll do it for you. She'll get you in within 2 days, and then you're off to the races. So she's in Godfrey, Illinois, which is really pretty easy to get to from anywhere you happen to be. And she makes it worth your while, too. It's not only tender, loving care in the TLC, it's tender, loving convenience as well. So what happens is you go ahead and you get hooked up in there, and if she notices something else that maybe you didn't see, but she can see through her X-rays or whatever they are, then she works on it while you're still there, so you don't have to come back. She makes it really worth your while. She's an expert in her field. A lot of cases, especially with the teeth straightening, she's teaching other dentists how to do this all throughout the country. So that's pretty cool too. I think I talk enough too about her mouth appliances, which are great. And the whole CPAP thing is legendarily a bummer for a lot of people. And believe it or not, you don't have to have the bag over your head and disrupt your partner in bed and do all that kind of stuff when you have oral appliance therapy that keeps the passageways open. So you're not snoring, but you're also not having a bag over your head that you're breathing into. So it's really great when it comes to all of your needs there when it comes to solving sleep apnea. Also, she has a $19 a month dental plan for you. For those of you who don't have insurance that's really adequate enough, and a lot of people are in that category, check it out at dentistrywithtlc.com. It's dentistrywithtlc.com.
No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is compromising their smartphone. That's why LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com and use promo code RISK to get 10% off your first year.
Are you unhappily single? Does your marriage or relationship feel hard? I get a lot of emails from readers who are struggling in their marriage or relationship. Unfortunately, the help an individual or couple needs can rarely be answered in a series of emails. For this reason, I offer relationship coaching for those who are struggling to find love and for couples whose marriage or relationship feels stuck in a negative cycle. Go to SuzanneBanker.com and sign up today for a coaching session with me and learn the tools you need to find love and sustain it. It's so much easier than you think. That's SuzanneBanker.com.
This portion of the Allman in the Morning Show is brought to you in part by Suntrip Volvo Cars, West County. Visit WCVolvoCars.com.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
The Gateway Pundit in just a little bit. Speaking of the Pope, kind of double back on this a little bit, but he's the Pope. So if you're the Pope, you're going to be the Pope, and you're going to Pope out every once in a while. You know what I mean? So when the Pope talks about stuff, that's what I call poping out, and he poped out the other day. The Pope piped up in a Pope out. That's what the Pope does. In Italian. I don't know how to speak Italian. I don't even know what Italian really necessarily sounds like. I couldn't do an imitation of it, but I will say that he woke up one morning, the other morning, and he was asked, "Hey, Pope, when are you going to pipe up?" And the Pope said, I'm going to pope out in just a second here, buddy. And then he peeped. Loss of biodiversity jeopardizes Earth's future. So he went down to Madagascar and loved the nation's flora and fauna, which actually is pretty cool. I mean, and he says that there's a devastating fallout due to a loss of biodiversity. Rich in plant and animal biodiversity, yet this treasure is especially threatened by excessive deforestation, for which some profit. And that is true. And the Madagascar story is a deeper one, and I'm gonna get to that later on, because a lot of people don't realize, because when you've heard about all of these mass extinctions and people try to put up this claim that there have been all these extinctions of certain animals and certain species and certain that. That's a lie. It's a lie by omission of what's really going on in our biological, ecological sphere. And extinctions are very common and happen all the time, but don't act like the extinction of some kind of weird-ass beetle is like the extinction of a human being. It's just not, and it happens all the time. There are things that we don't even know about that are alive and crawling around and kicking, and they're extinct before we even know they're even there. So I'll explain that a little bit, but I want to get to something else that, I don't know, you guys might have seen this. The debut of Allman, Radio Free Allman Investigates. And I've decided to kick this off with a pretty big story that really is less about this alleged perpetrator, Nate Smith, who, by the way, just won over the weekend the California water skiing Pro-Am. And it was, he's a U.S. sanctioned water skier. He's a world-renowned water skier. He's a world-famous water skier. And although most people don't pay attention to water skiing, it really, when it comes to the management of it, is no different than the kind of management of the U.S. gymnast teams, Major League Baseball, whatever. It still is a sport that is heavily sponsored by big sponsors, and it's a pretty major deal. So at some point, and it was a couple years ago, I think it was in the aftermath of the Me Too movement, the United States Congress passed a law, and it created an organization called Safe Sport. Safesport.org is where you can find the website. And this organization basically is a government extension. So it's tasked with monitoring the behavior of coaches and even of athletes in pretty much every sport known to man, and especially in sports that have the U.S. flag attached to them. Basically, you know, like a U.S. soccer team or a World Cup soccer team or gymnasts or whatever. And, of course, it also is affecting high school sports and college sports and all that kind of thing. It's called Safe Sport. Now, keep in mind, this is Orwellian, as I point out, in a sense, because it's this weird organization. You don't really know who runs it, who operates it, but it's a bunch of people who are supposed to be monitoring the behavior of individuals, especially coaches and that kind of thing. Safe Sport. You can just imagine, if there's a commercial for Safe Sport, it'd be like something really Orwellian, like, Safe Sport. We're here to help. And it's like that kind of thing. Congress passed this law that put Safe Sport into action. And all of your congressional delegation in Missouri as well as Illinois voted for it, with the exception of there were 3 Congress people who voted against it. One of them was this Justin Amash character, but I think he was voting against it because of his libertarian flair, and he figured this was probably too much government. And I totally understand that point of view. I get that point of view. But nonetheless, this was Congress's way of doing something about the whole Me Too movement. It was in the aftermath of the big crisis in the gymnast world, where that one guy was, and the doctor and all that really sickening stuff was happening. So Radio Free Allman Investigates is going to be a ongoing project of mine, because I want to get back into the investigative realm, and this is a great way to be able to do it. I could do it on the radio as well as Radio Free Allman, and a lot of it's going to focus, especially as we run up to 2020, on a lot of our government people. Sometimes it's going to be people who, and I'm not just going to go after liberals, let's put it that way. Anyway, the latest story is about Nate Smith, who, again, as I pointed out, competed in the California Water Ski Pro-Am. He won that, by the way. But let me ask you something. Let me ask you, Phil, or any of you out there, if you had on paper allegations against you that included threatening to kill somebody, having sex with a minor in a hotel room, a minor. Actually, I don't even need to say in a hotel room, because it's like, okay, well, that's okay, but don't do it in a hotel room. No, he was accused of having sex with a minor. By the way, my daughter, you're dead. I'm going to prison for a long time. But anyway, well, maybe I'll figure something out, but maybe I'll have somebody else do it for me. But nonetheless, you're accused of having sex with a minor. You're soliciting sex from multiple teenagers, at least if those are the accusations. And Nate Smith, again, is not accused of any crime and not convicted of any crime. He was banned from the water skiing world for 90 days after there were credible allegations of him threatening to kill somebody and beating them up, giving them a black eye, putting a pillow over their face. It's all up there on the Radio Free Allman site. You can see all the documentation of it. So that's, but for 90 days? There was a guy in the equestrian world, which I'll get to eventually. This guy is like 85 years old. There's an allegation of him made from 50 years ago. They banned him completely from the equestrian world. Safe Sport did. Banned him completely. This guy, Nate Smith, has a 90-day ban, a 90-day suspension, which was celebrated with this victory there in the California Water Ski Pro-Am. After not just that thing, the other allegations, Safe Sport didn't even deal with. The Safe Sport even said, yeah, we talked to people who say that he had sex with them or wanted to have sex with them. In one case, even on Facebook or one messaging group, suggested a threesome. This girl was 14 years old. Not only that, but at the time of these allegations, Nate Smith was also a mentor and coach of young water skiers, young female water skiers, and still is actually in Germany. So the guy was, so that he would have, they'd have all these like water, and keep in mind, water skiing is like tennis, is like the gymnast world, whatever. People raise their children to do this stuff. Like this is their thing. Lacrosse is another example of that. You know what I'm talking about? Those sports where they're not professional sports, but in the pro-am world, you can do a lot by, even for that matter, equestrians. But there are a lot of people, if you go through many different avenues of life, you're seeing a lot of people who are raising their kids in these specific sports worlds. And so in many ways, they're trusting these organizations to take care of their kids. Oftentimes, these kids go off to other states and to other places for camps and other kinds of places like that. And so they're trusted. They're in the trusting hand, supposedly trusted hands of these people who are, we got it. We're going to teach them how to do all this kind of stuff. Teach them to be world-class gymnasts or world-class swimmers or world-class lacrosse players or world-class water skiers. And so this world is a different world than you might think it is. So there are parents after parent after parent who have sent their kids off for 2 months in the summertime to turn them into big-time water skiing. And the endorsement capabilities are huge. You can make a lot of money on endorsements, and he still is. And I'll get to that during this week. There are two companies that people are like, what's going on with this? And they're like, no, don't say anything. Nothing to see here. What are you talking about? It's pretty amazing. But this is a government watchdog group that was created, this Safe Sport thing. And they're supposed to be looking out for, well, just that group of people, these young people who are immersed in this coaching and mentoring system. And again, it's not unlike the tennis world or the gymnast world or the swimming world or any other world. The water skiing world is a similar way. There are parents who are trusting these people. And you got this guy who was accused, not convicted, accused of all these various things, and Safe Sport is doing nothing about it. And that's your government program. And I will be asking Ann Wagner, who is a champion of defending young women. She has her trafficking bill was passed recently and everything else. And ask her how she feels about what Safe Sport is doing. I'm sorry, not doing about this. And, you know, everybody has the right to obviously redeem themselves and come back. And there have been plenty of cases where, you know, Michael Vick, you know, and all those dog crimes that he committed, went to prison, everything else. I still put him on one of my fantasy football teams right after he got out of prison because he's still a good quarterback. But 90 days for this, and again, I'll ask you, Phil, if you were accused of all those things, I guarantee you there are people who have gone to jail for less. I'm not kidding you. There are people who have been charged with sex crimes, everything else, for less. You have sex with a minor, that's a felony. You chat online with a minor about having sex with them, you see how far that gets you. That's a federal crime. And yet this guy gets a 90-day ban, and not for those things. It's for the beating. It's like, yeah, we know there's allegation he had sex with a minor, but you know that beating thing is just intolerable. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but so is the other thing. And so this whole Me Too movement stuff that was supposed to be remedied by the United States Congress is totally without any teeth. Why is that? And again, if Nate Smith is being wrongly accused of all this kind of stuff, then I think that's a thing too. But either way, whether or not he's been wrongly accused or accurately accused, and there are multiple accusations, at the very least, in fairness to you, the taxpayer, these ought to be at least investigated. And if it's a lie, then it ought to be exposed as such. But just to not do anything about it and have this guy running around because he's a crown jewel of water skiing is not acceptable. There's no other sport, well, certainly no other professional sport, where this would be tolerated. If this guy were an NFL player, he wouldn't have started. He wouldn't have played over the weekend, that's for sure. MLB? Hell no. NBA? No. Soccer? Hell no. And especially since this is a genre, this is an area where it is absolutely filled with young people aspiring to be just like Nate Smith, and Nate Smith knows that. And a lot of them are young girls because water skiing's a thing for a lot of young women. They're better at it sometimes than men are for a variety of reasons. But nonetheless, this shouldn't be tolerable. So all week long, we're going to talk about not only the advertisers, the sponsors who are looking the other way, it seems, and not even asking about it, to the U.S. government itself. This is really about Safe Sport not doing its job. of thoroughly investigating matters that should be thoroughly investigated. And this is also about Congress, again, passing some big law, creating some big organization, and then just going away because, we've done our job. Leave it up to Safe Sport now. It's like, no. I guarantee you once Ann Wagner knows about all this kind of stuff, it's going to be a different story, and she will. 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, in a word, stop and go. That pretty much describes our roads right now. We still have a disabled box truck blocking the right lane on 270 northbound after Dorset. It's on the shoulder. 270 northbound is jammed. 55 to Manchester, a huge delay there. Westbound backed up Bellefontaine to Washington Elizabeth. 6440 eastbound, you'll see delays. Clayton Warson to Big Bend. Westbound side, heavy Kings Highway to Big Bend. 70 eastbound, 94 to St. Charles Rock Road, some delays. And 44 eastbound slows 141 to 270. That is really heavy. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Ladies and gents, Arrowhead Building Supply. And it doesn't matter whether you are a contractor or whether you are a homeowner. Arrowhead Building Supply is going to make it happen for you. That big, gigantic rollout of the big, gigantic showroom, 7,000 square feet with a house built inside of it, is going to be happening over the next couple weeks. And it's going to be where you can see all this kind of stuff in living color. But you can do it now. All you have to do is go to arrowheadbuildingsupply.com. You'll see the entirety of this thing in St. Peter's. It's beautiful. And it's out of the mind and imagination of Rick Pogue. And I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing what they have been able to accomplish for not only the contractors, but also for the homeowners. And they have a contractor referral service as well. But you can see all the lines of the outside elegance and inside elegance lines of home improvement products right there. And these are not necessarily, as we call them, builder-grade materials. These are better. A lot of them, the materials are American-made. And you're not getting the box store thing, but you're getting the value. So if your issue is, well, I want to save money, so I'll go to the other box store, that's not necessarily true. You're not necessarily going to save money. It's going to be a big pain in your rear to do that yourself. But when you go to Arrowhead Building Supply, they're pulling out all the stops to walk you through it, coach you through it, get it going for you, link you up with a proper contractor, and then you're in. If you're a contractor, it's a no-brainer. You got the 315 guarantee, the 3-hour delivery. You've got all kinds of great bells and whistles for you. You got the roofing recycling bins delivered to your doorstep. It's just a one-time fee. It's not on the clock. So it's amazing what Arrowhead Building Supply is going to do for you, the contractor, and you, the homeowner. Check it out on the web. It's arrowheadbuildingsupply.com. That's arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Are you looking for your dream home, but it doesn't seem to exist? You've tried to figure it out on your own, but don't know what step to take next? Don't worry, I'm Tammy, owner of Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate, and my team and I are ready to help ease that stress. Go to calltammy.com to set up your stress-free appointment today. Give me an idea of what you're looking for, and we will do the rest. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Go to calltammy.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
The Dana Show, this afternoon at 1. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Quando sei amato amore.
Quando se quema d'amore, quando se immala su vela, quando se immala dolore, quando se immala.
Come on, man, it's Phil's birthday. It's a Phil's birthday dance party, people.
Quando se immala su amore. Baila, 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 baila me. Esta rumba, esta gitana, que yo siempre cantaré, pero no siempre cantaré, pero no siempre cantaré. Esta rumba, esta
Come over here, Phil, come on.
no siempre cantaré. Cuando se inmala dolores, cuando se quema el amor, cuando se inmala su vela.
Shake your booty.
Cuando se inmala dolores, cuando se inmala dolores.
Like, dude, you're like 56. This is... By the way, people, and happy birthday, Phil.
Again, I thank you.
Are you waiting for those sandwiches for later?
I'm going to have one in the car on the way home.
I hope. I mean, I don't want them to like sit there too long. But they're gonna have to sit there.
You wrap them so well. I noticed you do it in the wax paper.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that treatment,
yeah,
man. It's all good.
It's wax paper and aluminum foil, everything else. Just as a measure of this particular investigation regarding the water skiing, I've only had the post up since about 11 o'clock last night. Almost 1,500 engagements so far. That's because parents, this is mortifying to all parents out there who are raising their children in the sports world. I'll follow up on it just a little later on.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Summer vacation is over for the kids and for members of Congress. Lawmakers returning to Capitol Hill to face issues left undone when they took off for August. Gun control is one of those issues. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell has said he will not advance any gun legislation that President Trump wouldn't be willing to sign. It is a Leviathan, the enormous cargo ship resting on its side just off the coast of Georgia. The vessel transporting cars bound for Baltimore overturned and caught fire over the weekend. 20 people rescued from the disabled vessel, 4 others still missing, and the search for them goes on. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, facing a firestorm of opposition at home, has told Ireland's leader that a new Brexit deal can be reached, allowing Britain to leave the European Union by the October 31st deadline.
Speaking alongside Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar in Dublin, Johnson said a deal on the Irish border question can be secured in time to enable a smooth British departure from the EU by the scheduled Brexit date. But the embattled Prime Minister didn't explain how the long-standing stalemate can be broken in a way that would satisfy the other 27 EU leaders and would win backing in Britain's Parliament, where his party no longer has a working majority. Charles de Ledesma, London.
The official death toll from Hurricane Dorian has risen to 45 in the Bahamas. The hunt for the missing goes on. In a show of solidarity, thousands of students have formed human chains outside schools across Hong Kong. The silent protests follow violent weekend clashes between police and activists pushing for democratic reforms in the semi-autonomous Chinese territory. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 61 points, S&P futures 10 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 23 points ahead of this morning's opening bell. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, in a word, stop and go. That pretty much describes our roads right now. We still have a disabled box truck blocking the right lane on 270 northbound after Dorset. It's on the shoulder. 270 northbound is jammed. 55 to Manchester, a huge delay there. Westbound backed up Bellefontaine to Washington Elizabeth. 6440 eastbound, you'll see delays. Clayton Warson to Big Bend. Westbound side, heavy Kings Highway to Big Bend. 70 eastbound, 94 to St. Charles Rock Road, some delays. And 44 eastbound slows 141 to 270. That is really heavy. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
All right, folks, I will tell you when it comes to 4Home Remodeling, 4homeremodeling.com, it's pretty incredible what Rob Very is doing. Rob actually contacted me the other day and said, dude, I was on your show and I already have somebody who is wanting me to remodel their kitchen and bath. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. Well, that's the kind of reach that Allman in the Morning has and Radio Free Allman has. So, Rob Very, thank you very much. Congratulations. But you know what? In the end, it's all about you. I could bring them to you, but the fact that you actually have them on board eventually, that's all you because of your record, because you're impeccable. Better Business Bureau record and all of your great reviews. If you go to 4homeremodeling.com, F-O-R-E, homeremodeling.com, you'll see that right in all of its full glory. And Rob's a good guy. He's been a long-time listener to the show. And so this time he said, you know what? I think I'm going to advertise my business. So he's been going for 15 years now. And he's really good at specializing in you, aside from kitchen and baths. And, of course, as he told me the other day, and he was in here with Rick Pogue, he gets all of his cabinets, all of his stuff from Arrowhead Building Supply, or most of it at least. And the cabinets are American-made. They're not builder grade. They're really nice. But keep in mind, whenever I'm worried about saying really nice, we're going, that means expensive. It does not mean expensive. You got to talk about value. You got to talk about not only the quality of the materials, but also the installation and the expert workmanship you're going to get from Rob and his team at 4homeremodeling.com. So if you're right now, a lot of people are reinvesting in their homes. They're not moving, not doing anything else. They're staying put. And that's just the way things are. The consumer business as it relates to home remodeling and home building and that kind of stuff and staying put is really high these days. And so if you want to go ahead and revamp your entire kitchen, your entire bath, you finally want to kind of pull the trigger on beautifying your home in that way, Rob's available for you right now. 4homeremodeling.com. That's F-O-R-E, homeremodeling.com.
Try the really big chicken sandwich combo with 2, 3, or even 4 chicken patties, starting at $3.99. It's the combo that adjusts to your hunger, only at Jack in the Box. Limited time only.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Fed chair says recession is unlikely, Mississippi easing up on meatless product labeling, and Tex-Mex chain Chipotle hopes humor will cut down on thefts. Those stories next.
I'm Bobby Richards with today's 1 Minute Money Report. The New York Times recently reported on an unusual way Americans are making money. They found over 10,000 people who broke the golden rule of investing and became millionaires. The stories included people from all walks of life, including writers, professional bowlers, and blues guitarists, even a set of grandparents.
We broke the golden rule of investing and turned $16,000 into $2 million.
And here's one person who agrees with what they're doing, Warren Buffett. He says blindly following Wall Street's golden rule is just protection against ignorance. And Alexander Green, perhaps the top stock picker in America, told his 140,000 followers that if they break this rule, they can retire on just one investment. His video immediately went viral. You can view it for yourself at onestockretirement.com and decide if you should break the golden rule too. Again, that's onestockretirement.com. If your retirement isn't what you want it to be, go see what 10,000 people have already used to become millionaires.
Paid for by Oxford Club.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell says he's not expecting either a U.S. or a global recession anytime soon. He adds the Fed will monitor developments and take actions it deems necessary. Mississippi is the latest front in the battle over meatless products. The state proposes new labeling regulations to protect both consumers and companies making new products. It will allow terms such as veggie burgers or vegan bacon as long as consumers clearly understand they contain no meat. Tex-Mex chain Chipotle has encountered problems with their customers stealing bottles of Tabasco sauce from their restaurants. So for its home delivery orders, the company is now including little bottles as part of things you'd like to borrow. A spokesman says a little humor may help cut down on thefts. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please.
And it was a commercial for Black Rifle Real Estate Company. And I'm not quite sure whether the voice of the commercial was indeed Todd Savage, but anyway, I heard it, and I'm like going, this sounds like one of the coolest ideas around. And indeed, you learn a little bit more about Todd Savage, and you learn he's a Marine, served more than 10 years in the Marine Corps, 89 to 96. Listen, I didn't do well in math, whatever. And he went back to California. He and his wife were kind of trapped in this sanctuary city. And they said, all right, we're getting out of here. And you know what? I bet you there are people just like us. They teamed up with the Survival Retreat Consulting to form this strategic relocation team, and now you have Black Rifle Real Estate Company. It's the greatest idea, Todd Savage. Thanks for joining us from beautiful Idaho. At least I'm assuming that's where you are right now, brother. How you doing?
Yes, Jamie, doing great. Yeah, we're in northern Idaho. Thank you very much for having us on.
It's a great story. And first of all, what kind of reception do you get once people start finding out a little bit more about Black Rifle Real Estate? It's a great idea.
Well, the one thing in real estate is, the big box firms that everybody sees around town and advertise, nobody remembers them. And when you hear Black Rifle Real Estate and you're a conservative, constitutional-loving American, you can't forget it. And that's what's great about it. So folks come to us and they want to be able to flee the sanctuary cities, come out to rural America, whether it's Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, or anywhere in the U.S. We make referrals to conservative agents throughout the United States, and they want to work with people and put their hard-earned money in the circle of liberty, and it's a wonderful concept. We love it. We're able to help folks get out of the sanctuary cities and find freedom, and that's the key. They're stuck where they are, and we help them get out and escape.
Yeah, and most people don't realize it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a farm necessarily to get the hell out of Dodge. And that's what you guys do. You guys are finding properties that are kind of accessible to people, and maybe it will be a farm, but who knows? But accessible to people, and because a lot of people think, well, if I get out of Dodge, I got to live on some sprawling, campground someplace, and that's not the case.
That's not the case at all. A lot of our clients will buy just an acre or two just outside the city limits. We have some folks that for whatever reason, they feel that they want to be in city limits. You can be in a condo in a small rural town in America somewhere, and you're 1,000 times safer than any sanctuary city. So you don't have to be necessarily on 10 or 20 acres. We have 40 acres. We're off the grid, but that's what we want. The bottom line is we just want conservative folks to vote with their feet and leave the sanctuary cities and states and come to free America.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And you know what? The fact of the matter is, even though they're going to, the left is trying to get rid of the Electoral College, no chance. And believe me, you can move out of your sanctuary city, and your vote still counts, and it always will be over our dead bodies. And here's the thing that's great about it too: is Black Rifle Real Estate Company has all these agents and the referral agents, and they're made up of veterans, black rifle connoisseurs, weapons owners, the Class 3. I'm talking about the big ones, concealed weapons holders, cowboy action shooters. What's a cowboy action shooter, man? It sounds pretty cool.
So there's a lot of folks that do tactical shooting, IDPA, other stuff like that. And there's guys out there that do, whether Civil War reenactments or, more importantly, the cowboy action shooting. So using single action revolvers and lever action rifles. It's great. And those are a lot of the guys that we find out in Montana and Wyoming. Really good folks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I guess in terms of your own experience, so you guys were, where were you? What sanctuary city were you in? And when did it finally just occur to you all to say, hey, you know what? We're getting out of here.
So we were located just outside the San Francisco Bay Area, and we had lived there for, 10 years or so. And at one point, we just sat down and realized that this is not where we want to raise our children. We were homeschooling at the time, and we felt pressure for vaccinations, gun control, obviously. California had a big assault weapons ban. I think it was December 2001. And we actually had to go to Reno with some friends. We bought a rental property just outside of Reno and rented some college kids and gave them discounted rent. Said, hey, we're going to put a couple safes here. We put all our illegal guns from California in Nevada, and that worked for a while. We drive up there and get our guns and go to Reno Gun Show and buy ammo and go out in the desert and shoot. But at a certain point, we just realized that why do we have to leave the state to exercise our freedoms? And we left. We just woke up one day and said, that's it. It took us 3 years to make our strategic relocation out of the San Francisco area. A couple reasons. Just like most people, you're making good money. It's hard to walk away from that. And at a certain point, we just had to sit down and pray about it and say, you know, is it money or family? What are we going to do? What's most important to us? And when we're older and our kids are out of the house and doing their own thing, we want to be able to look back and say that we did the right thing, regardless of how it would cost us financially. And it did. We had to start over. But looking back now, we made the right choice. And we just want folks to be able to see that as well and to leave and come to freedom. That's very important.
No doubt about it. And it only gets more important as President Trump succeeds more. And as far as I'm concerned, President Trump is going to win re-election in 2020. And at that point, all that happens is the left, they turn the burners up even more. And the way, since they can't get at President Trump, they're going to try to get at you. They're going to try to take your city down. They're going to try to take, they're going to take you in and out from within. They're going to be cancers in your communities because they can't touch President Trump in the White House. And so they'll start localizing all their anger, venom, and the fact that they're so ass-hurt over the election. So it's only going to get worse. You'd think that it would be better since we have a Republican president like Trump in and he's making America great again. You'd think it'd be better and that we'd want to move out of Dodge when Hillary Clinton's president. But the reality is because of the reactions of the left, because of their destructive forces, because of their groupings, because of their little cancers that they're creating in all kinds of communities, this becomes even more of a need, not less of one.
I think so. And we may disagree on how the election may go in 2020. I really feel that Texas and Florida are going to go to the dark side, and Trump may not win. And if that happens, it's even more of a reason to, make your vote count locally and move to a place where people will listen and support you. And that's going to be in rural America. Anywhere outside the left coast and the other left coast, right? So, vote with your feet. Do what's best for your family, and even if you're retirement age and you're done and you have your retirement, get out. Go find a nice place. Go fishing and hunting, and just enjoy what America was in the 1950s. That's the way it is in rural America. These sanctuary cities are never coming back, and I think that's what the right has to realize is the battle is lost in these sanctuary cities, but the war can be won. And if and when we get a socialist president, I think that we're going to have to seriously think about where conservatives live. And being in rural America, they can change all the laws they want, but that doesn't change anything here. Life goes on. We have our guns, we have our faith, and that will never be broken. And if, God forbid, someday we have a major socioeconomic collapse in the country or other unrest, you want to be with like-minded folks. And I think rural America is where it's at.
Boy, that's a really good point and a reminder that even though we have some confidence in the 2020 election, don't put your head in the sand and think it's a foregone conclusion. Because on the one hand, I want to believe that that's going to happen. But on the other hand, I also know that all the mechanisms are in place to make sure among all these sore losers that 2016 doesn't happen again. And so everybody is on alert. You've seen it already with the high-tech firms and everybody else starting to censor conservatives and all that kind of stuff. So on the one hand, Todd Savage with Black Rifle Real Estate is reminding us, you think these people are bad as sore losers? Watch them as sore winners. And that's where you're really going to have to batten down the hatches. So point well taken, brother.
Thank you very much. And I think one thing to realize is that these red flag laws, they're horrible. They're used already to take guns from patriots. And if you think when the socialists get in control, they will immediately ban assault weapons and ask for them to be turned in and or purchased. They'll probably give us a 30-day window, and then it'll be a felony punishable by 10 years in prison. I can't imagine what that would do. You know, in Idaho and Montana and Wyoming, we can go to a local convenience store, meet somebody in a parking lot, exchange cash or gold bullion, whatever, buy whatever firearm we want, and walk away. Private party transfers cannot be stopped. And that's what I believe is going to happen. Congress returns in 8 days, I believe, and I think we're going to see a movement by both parties to pass universal background checks and get rid of private party transfers. James Wesley Rawls, the author of Patriot, Surviving the Coming Collapse, he has a website called Survival Blog, and he had a post yesterday about this. I think everybody should contact all of their congressmen and let them know that we cannot let this happen.
Well, Todd Savage, you have to realize, too, as I know you all do, that people have to realize that we've gotten to a point now where we actually have grown men. We have politicians who have made it to the level of a Democratic national presidential debate who are suggesting a government program that mandates you to turn in your semi-automatic weapon. And the fact that we've reached that point in America where you have people who are taken seriously, who say that kind of thing, you better ask no that we're in trouble. Just the very idea that that's even an acceptable thing, as opposed to the reaction should be tar and feathering these guys. They're instead now on a national stage, and so you got to be really careful. And I think you guys are hitting on something really important. And so, if you go to blackriflerealestate.com, do you all have links to, like, for instance, this blog you were just talking about, or do you just solely real estate stuff?
No, we have links, but I think the one thing to say to the listeners, I had a paradigm shift when I met James Wesley Rawls at a gun show out of state back in 2003, and I'd read his book at the time, and he started Survival Blog, and we talked, and I asked him for advice, what do I do? And he said, you need to vote with your feet and lead. And the Trump administration on InfoWars, they had an article, and I believe it's been verified. They're thinking about a social credit score to buy firearms. I can't imagine how that's constitutional. I've warned my friends for years about posting things on Facebook. If you go to Black Rifle Real Estate on Facebook, I think we have a few expletives about Facebook, and we say if you want to learn more about us, go to our website or call us, but we don't support Facebook. So, you know, all these postings, 5 years from now, we have a socialist in power. They call it pre-crime, right? And they look back to your posts 5 or 10 years ago and say, oh, you said this. Well, I guess we're going to have to come get your guns. That is going to happen. I'm telling you right now. People may listen and go, no way. It will happen. So be careful what you say online. Read the Constitution. Teach your family. And hold your faith, because it's going to be a rough ride ahead.
Yeah, and that thing about the social credit score, I've heard that President Trump is possibly squishy enough to support that. I'm hoping to God he is not. I mean, if that's what our Republican Party is pushing, then they're going to be in huge trouble here. And I can't imagine President Trump being gullible enough to buy into that. But, man, you just never know. And so we've got to be very vigilant here. And Todd Savage, good luck with the company. Thank you so much for joining us. And thanks for the info and the enlightenment, brother. Godspeed to you. And thank you so much for your service in the Marines and your service to common sense and to the Constitution with blackriflerealestate.com and to the United States of America, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Have a wonderful day. God bless you and all of your listeners.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great.
Since you're gonna buy a boat, you need a hitch. Oh, and what about a floor liner?
Let's keep it looking nice.
Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. Selling top brands for trucks like Bug Shields, step bars, and bed liners for over 20 years.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois, or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now with free installation and a lifetime warranty on vent visors and bug shields.
I've been trying to lose weight for 12 years now, but nothing ever works long term. Low carb, low fat, keto, fasting. I need help.
Hello, this is Dr. Jim Hankinson of Back to Wellness Chiropractic. I am the leading doctor when it comes to weight loss management in St. Louis. We offer a proven program that will help you lose weight and make healthy lifestyle changes. To learn more, go to stlbackdoc.com. That's stlbackdoc.com. And don't forget to listen to my weekly wellness show every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. right here on The Answer.
There's a place for you at St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Health insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com, or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
Arrowhead now offers the full line of roofing and siding products from CertainTeed. Beautify your home with CertainTeed Landmark Architectural Shingles. For an even bolder statement, check out CertainTeed's famous Grand Manor or Presidential Shake, or the new Belmont Traditional Slate look. Get the rustic look of natural cedar siding without the high cost and maintenance of wood with Cedar Impressions polymer shakes. Cedar Board's insulated siding is an energy-saving, foam-backed siding with a wood grain texture molded from real cedar boards. Contact us today. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Allman here for a longtime Common Sense Radio supporter, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all three of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
And it kind of doubling back on this whole Nate Smith and the water skiing world and the allegations of misconduct that we're seeing. There are so many people who are so afraid to come forward and so afraid to kind of address this issue because there's so much money involved in it, and that's one of the painful reasons for this. And this is why the whole gymnast thing got out of hand. These sports that are the pro-am type of sports. And by the way, go to Radio Free Allman, the Facebook page, and you'll see the latest as I kicked off the RFA Investigate series that will be continuing ongoing. This is the first one out of the blocks, but the reasons why this is so important is because these pro-am sports, which ideally were the fix was supposed to be the Safe Sports program created by Congress. So There's so many parents out there. That's why the people reached on this particular post are so large, and so many parents just cringe at what they're seeing here, is because so many parents are involved in the pro-am sports world, so to speak. I'm talking about tennis. I'm talking about the equestrian world. I'm talking about polo. I'm talking about any other tennis. You know, all these things where young people are kind of raised into the sport are fraught with these people who prey on them and know that if they open up their mouths, their whole careers, everything they've worked for, all the camps their parents have sent them to, everything else will suddenly dry up. And unfortunately, there are some parents who just also, and some people who just accept this as the cost of doing business. I'm not talking about Nate Smith here, but just for example, yeah, man, that guy's a perv, but what are you going to do? Yeah, he sent me messages on Instagram telling me he wants me to be naked. I'm 12, but what am I going to do? Am I going to turn on one of the most coveted jewels of water skiing and ruin my life? I could accept a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Well, that's a problem. And that's why there are so many people who become victimized, and before they become victimized, before they get any kind of justice, it's out of hand. Just look at what happened with the gymnasts. It's a great example. Anyway, check it out at the Radio Free Allman Facebook page. It's all up there in black and white. And it'll be an ongoing investigation all this week, including an interview with Ann Wagner, hopefully, if we can get a hold of her.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Summer vacation over for Congress. Lawmakers going back to Capitol Hill to face issues that were left undone when they took off for the month of August. Gun control, one of those issues. That enormous cargo ship still resting on its side just off the coast of Georgia. The vessel was transporting cars heading for Baltimore, overturned, caught fire over the weekend. 20 people rescued, 4 others still missing, and the search for them goes on. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who's facing a lot of opposition at home, has told Ireland's leader that a new Brexit deal can be reached, allowing Britain to leave the European Union by the 31st of October. On Wall Street this morning, stocks opening higher right now. The Dow is up 29 points. The S&P 9 points higher just moments after the opening bell. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Our very busy morning continues. 270 northbound has a huge delay. 55 to Manchester. Westbound slows Bell Fountain to Washington Elizabeth. 44 eastbound, you're backed up 141 to 270. 6440 eastbound, 270 to Big Bend. Westbound, it's Kings Highway to 170's jam. 70 eastbound, 94 to St. Charles Rock Road, stop and go there. And 70 westbound, West Florissant to Lucas and Hunt. Also seeing some delays. Now, 270 southbound, just a tight spot there, Gravois to 55. Not a big deal. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
All right, friends, ThrottleNet is a group of individuals who are the good guys, all right? These are the good guys facing off and knowing what's up with the bad guys. The bad guys are the ones who invade your system and lock it down and basically internet nap you. Basically, they hold your entire operation hostage and want you to pay in the formulation of Bitcoin or whatever to unlock it. Oftentimes you can pay, they still don't unlock it. It's miserable. And you can barely afford any way to pay it off. You've seen these local governments in Texas and Baltimore who have been ransomwared, And they have the money to pay because it's your tax dollars. They just go back into the treasury, grab some, and pay it. But you can't do that. Could you imagine having to outlay $500,000 to unlock your system to somebody? That's enough to drive your business right into the trash hole. So ThrottleNet comes in. They give you a free audit. So this free audit is very important because they will look at all the ways that you're vulnerable, whether it be lack of backup, whether it be employee behavior, whether it be just simple things that you're not catching that they can catch. And once they do that, once they let you know what the problem is, the only time you ever have to pay any money is when you have them seal up the deal there, seal up the holes for you. That's ThrottleNet. Check it out on the web. It's throttlenet.com. That's throttlenet.com.
I'm Russ Evans.
I'm Chris Carter.
And I'm Shannon Nordstrom. Together, we're the Motor Medics on Under the Hood.
Join us for fun and free automotive advice. If your car is feeling ill, we're the doctors, and we're here for you.
Tune in and be entertained while learning more about your car and how to save money on ownership costs.
You can ask questions and find out more at underthehoodshow.com. And don't forget about our Facebook page. Join the Motor Medics each week on Under the Hood. Brought to you in part by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Under the Hood, Sunday afternoons at 2 on The Answer. Dennis Prager sees nothing but drama from the left.
The hysteria, everything on the left is hysteria because they're children. If you don't understand that there's an infantilization of the human being that is endemic to leftism, it's an immaturity. Can you name a single subject they talk about that does not involve their being hysterical?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. News, opinion, insight. America's First News with Matt Ray gets you up to speed mornings from 4 to 6, right before Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Jimmy Hoff, the Gateway Pundit, joining me right now, thegatewaypundit.com. Jimmy, looking forward to hanging out with you this week. I know we have a couple people coming in, one of them doing a documentary on not only the attempted oppression of you as a conservative bastion, you as one of the most prolific conservative bloggers, if you will, with one of the most popular websites in the U.S. People keep trying to suffocate you, put the pillow over your head, and it's not working. And you've attracted the attention of some pretty high level. One of them being this high level documentary maker, who I am really looking forward to seeing this week. But buddy, you have I can't wait for this because you're finally, well, not finally, but you're getting your due. When it comes to what you're up to, and when it comes to finally somebody sounding the alarm about the attempts to suffocate conservative voices everywhere. And I've experienced that, but you've been dealing with it for ages now. So looking forward to that, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, thanks so much, Jamie. That was very nice of you. Yeah, we got a friend of ours that's coming in. He's finishing up a project. They followed me for a couple of years since the election. And, after the 2016 election, as you know, we were both celebrating. It was a great victory for the people of America, seeing Trump win the election. Just, I was positive it was going to happen. I think you were. You were on the Trump train right away. I was. I knew we needed a change. It was very exciting. But since that time, the people on the left, the Never-Trumpers, they've just been relentless. And so a voice like Gateway Pundit, a voice like Jamie Allman, with Gateway Pundit, we were like the fourth-ranked most influential conservative website back in 2016 during the election. And because there wasn't many that supported Trump, we had a big impact on the election. Since that time, they, just every direction.
Yeah.
Right, but Jamie, you've been through the same thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and I'm glad that somebody's finally exposing this, and of course this is going to make the national level sooner rather than later. All right, so I got to post it. They're already lining up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, huh?
Yeah, isn't that something? This was like, Trump speaking there, I believe it's tonight at 7 p.m., and there's a runoff election there tomorrow. And the people started 48 hours early. There's pictures of people pitching a tent. It's insane, But this enthusiasm for Trump is still out there. And, I don't think we've seen that yet from Pocahontas rally or Beto O'Rourke. But Trump still has people who are there just hours and hours early to see him. And so this ought to be a great rally tonight.
One thing I didn't consider, which I was glad to see, is Brad Parscale. I never even considered this, but then when I think about it, I'm thinking, wow, this sounds. I'm up for this. I'm good. I'm good with this. That the Trump family is building a political dynasty that will last for decades. And that was music to my ears. Just when you think that there's no real new news, this suddenly becomes a thing. I'm thinking, wow, when I think about it, this could really happen. And sooner, and it couldn't happen soon enough because it's about time the Trump family, as far as I'm concerned, declares full ownership of the Republican Party. And if the Republican Party doesn't like it, they can go the way of the Whigs.
I'm with you, 100%. Yep. Americans and Republicans have bought into the Trump agenda. And we're blessed to see this guy right now as our leader. The things he's doing, the promises he made and kept, and then the promises he didn't make, but he's moving ahead with, like taking on China. I had no idea he was going to do that. We knew he was against these free trade policies, but then when he comes out and starts sticking it to China, it's unbelievable what this guy is doing, and it was so necessary. As we look at the situation, Trump always brings clarity to a situation, and this is one battle that America needs to win, or, in 20, 30 years, we're going to be reporting to China, and they're going to have total control. So I think Trump is just the man for the time. I'm with you, Jamie, 100%. If his son's daughter want to lead this party going forward, I'm right behind him.
Yeah, there's no question about it. By the way, I noticed you posted something from Wayne Allen Root regarding President Trump's grand bargain on guns. I just got through talking to some folks who are heavily concerned that the president is somehow going to be okay with this social credit score, so to speak, to buy a gun. I don't believe the president's going to fall for this. I'm not concerned about that. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, that would be stunning if he went ahead with something like this. If he gave Google and Apple, it was originally said, and Facebook, this type of power when these companies are just out of control as it is. Trump has spoken about that numerous times. So it'd be hard to believe that then he would give them, power to decide who was going to have a gun and who isn't. Because, Jamie, if that list came out, our names are going to be on it, right? So it won't be just, whatever they decide is some type of behavior that's dangerous. They're going to put a lot of conservatives on their list, too. We just know that already.
Yeah. Your top post this morning is about a good old-fashioned AR-15 coming to the rescue for a 61-year-old homeowner. What happened?
This is a frightening story, and when you read it, it's one of those stories that just you can't forget. So this 61-year-old was at home, and this kid comes knocking at his door, and he had some exchange on Craigslist. It said he'd only seen the guy once, and the guy comes to his door, and so he doesn't let the guy in. He goes to bed. Later that night, 4 men break into his house. They're armed, and he has an AR-15. He shoots 2 of them. One's wearing a Jason mask. I mean, of all things, to wake up in the night and to see something like this. So he has an AR-15. He protects his home. He shoots two of the suspects, or the intruders. The other two flee. The cops are called. This guy gets shot in the process by one of these invaders, home invaders. And the cops come. They find two of the other invaders hiding nearby in the woods. But what a frightening story. It's just amazing. And it's, people read that. It's just chilling. And these are the stories that the media, of course, will never report generally. But this is why we have our Second Amendment, so we can protect our property for some horrible, incident like this.
Yeah, I mean, two more, and that would have been a mass shooting we could all get behind.
Absolutely.
Well, because apparently 4 shot is what is described as a mass shooting, which is why when the news media says we've had like 1,000 of them so far this year, it's like, what? Really? I mean, what are you talking about? All right. And here is a palate cleanser. Biden is back, this time in New Hampshire, this Saturday speech. You've got this awesome clip up there. Let's take a listen for a second here.
And I will not let this man be reelected president of the United States of America.
Yes, you will.
Limit it to 4 years. I believe history will look back in this presidency as an aberrant moment in time. But if Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip.
Oh, really? Well, he's coughing his way through it. So that's the guy who wants to be the president of the United States is calling somebody if Freudian slip. So hump is really? I mean, this guy, what's wrong with this dude? And I didn't even get to all the coughing and all the other stuff. This is like the male version of a sickly Hillary Clinton,
What's amazing is that was the strongest Joe was sounding since he's been on the campaign trail until he started talking about President Hump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is reelected. He will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation.
And by the way, this jackass can't get through 2.5 minutes without using the word existential threat, and he still can't even say existential. That's in there as well. I mean, my goodness gracious, I still don't know what that means, but nonetheless, it's a good clip if you check it out at thegatewaypundit.com. Also up at thegatewaypundit.com. Again, this is your place, folks. Listen, no offense to the Drudge Report, Jimmy. I don't know what's gotten into the Drudge Report these days.
I don't get it either. Everybody's saying the same thing, and it's really disheartening to see what's happened there. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not saying Drudge has to be Trumpian all the time, but at the very least, don't sit there and just simply regurgitate and vomit up what I can get from ABC News on a regular basis. It's like, really, we Drudge Report's okay, but I think it's really they've gotten lazy, and I don't think Drudge is even running the thing anymore. I think they've got a few of these squishy 25-year-olds running the site now. But that's why your site is so great, because you've got stuff that actually has substance to it, like meat. And this other one, the 6.2 million Americans dropping off of food stamps, is a great story and certainly underreported.
Right. 6.2 million since Trump was inaugurated. That's an amazing figure, and it saves the country $9 billion a year. Of course, you won't see that in the mainstream media, but, another success for Donald Trump that just is not reported, and that's been the media tactic all along, is to ignore all the good things, the record economy that we're living through right now, and trash him on Sharpie Gate or the Alabama hurricane fiasco that they put together last week.
And what does a climate strike look like? There's another post at thegatewaypundit.com, and this is moveon.org. They're calling for a climate strike on the 20th of September.
Right. Well, it's an excuse for kids to walk out of school.
Yeah.
So they indoctrinate the kids since kindergarten that the global warming is going to kill them all. And then they get the free day, so they're all going to be walking out on the 20th. And then it's going to be headlines all over the country, and how everybody wants us to destroy our economy because of global warming. So I guess we know what the storyline is anyway.
I'm hoping there's one school out there that the kids leave and they just lock the doors. You know what I mean? I mean, let's do a Ronald Reagan air traffic controller strike response to the kids walking out of school, and tell them, if you leave here, do not plan on coming back.
Yeah, it'd be nice if that happened, but we'll see.
Here's what will happen, though, Jim. What's going to happen is it's going to be facilitated. So what happens in these situations is the school recognizing the fact that we could lose, we've decided to have an assembly instead. So either way, Move On does or Nor's going to win, because they're going to force the schools to have to respond instead of doing something that real men ought to be doing, which is you leave school, like parents or whatever. You leave school, you might as well either don't come home and don't go, and you're not welcome back into school. They're going to facilitate some kind of low, watered down version of the protest, so the kids don't leave school. Don't you think?
Right. Well, that or else the teachers will be leading the protests, and they'll, be in front of the marchers as they march down the street. So one or the other.
Who's going to walk out of work? I mean, you're going to add to the.
Takes some,
yeah.
That takes some courage.
I tell my employees I'd actually print off your story about the 6.2 million people off of food stamps, and I would hand it to everybody planning on leaving work and saying you're about to go back. You're about to add to the people on food stamps if you walk out of here. Oh man,
yeah,
it's great.
That's the way to handle it.
Right on, brother. Well, anyway, this is your joyful conservative warrior, Jimmy Hoff, the Gateway Pundit, as always, and appreciate all that you do, buddy.
Thank
and
you.
I'll see you probably around sometime around this week. Okay, buddy. That's Jimmy Hoff, the Gateway Pundit. Thank you. 844-855-1380, the call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
Live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're looking at some very heavy spots out there this morning. 270 northbound jammed up. Gravois to Manchester westbound. Bell Fountain to Washington Elizabeth, you'll see some delays. And 270 southbound slows Gravois to 55. 44 eastbound Bowles to Highway Drive, and then Arsenal to Kings Highway. 6440 eastbound. Brake lights there between 270 and Big Bend. Westbound Kings Highway to 170. And 70 eastbound 94 to St. Charles Rock Road. Westbound, it's West Florissant to Lucas and Hunt, backed up too. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Banner Construction, ladies and gentlemen, 569-1050, bannerconstruction.com. And here's the deal. When it comes to all of your home improvement needs, I know it's going to be, 95 today? I know this isn't your time to batten down the hatches for winter, but you know what happens. Wintertime in St. Louis sometimes can be pretty darn rough, just like it was last winter. And if you are convincing yourself you're not going to have to relive that again, where you hear the wind whistling through the windows for the 50th time in the wintertime, by February you're tired of that, aren't you? Then you need to get new windows. And the Pella window product is excellent, and it is brought to you by Banner Construction. Pella has said to Banner, hey, we want you to be our front people for all this. We want you to be the people selling our windows and installing our windows. And Pella is a very well-known crown jewel in the window industry. And so the fact that they've crowned Banner Construction as their seller and installer is a pretty big deal. And Banner, of course, has earned every bit of it, because if you look at the Better Business Bureau site or whatever, you'll see the reviews, impeccable reviews from consumers. James Hardy feels the same way. The James Hardy fiber cement siding, that will lock up your home too when it comes to insulation qualities. That's not only great for the wintertime, it's also great for the summertime, because obviously you're not air conditioning the outdoors when you have locked down great high quality fiber cement siding like the James Hardy product is. So check it out right now. We've got some great sales going on as we head into autumn, and if you are right now ready and wanting to get yourself ready for winter, they've got an open door for you right now at Banner Construction. BannerConstruction.com, 314-569-1050.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group and timeshare cancellation advocate. I was sued by the largest timeshare company in federal court for simply helping people cancel their timeshare that they had been lied to about. The jury sized me up and came back with a verdict after only 20 minutes. And yes, I won.
My husband and I are more than grateful to everyone at Wesley Financial Group. You know, thanks to Chuck and his team, we feel as though a weight has been lifted and we can move on without the worry of a troublesome timeshare.
Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, it's my mission to get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Want to learn more about getting rid of your troublesome timeshare? Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation. Call 800-691-9999. That's 800-691-9999. 800-691-9999.
You love that smell. That new truck smell. All cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com.
Never paint again. This is Darren, owner of Rhino Shield. Want to eliminate painting your home, business, or church? Call the experts at Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic wall coating to regular paint and vinyl. Perfect for aluminum, steel, unpainted brick, block, stucco, ephes, drive-it, cement board, and wood sidings. Rhino Shield eliminates wasting time and money painting year after year. Our ceramic coating deflects 90% of the sun's UV rays and 100% of the moisture. Our clients want affordable protection with the elimination of maintenance. Rhino Shield protects your biggest investment while maintaining your architectural features and gives you the curb appeal you deserve. Make your home great again by working with the Rhino Shield experts. A+ rated with the BBB. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey home buyer, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. Let's face it, life is busy. Who has hours to sift through homes on the internet? Leave that to us. We are your personal real estate experts. We can let you know as soon as a house hits the market that would be perfect for you. I've been selling houses for over 23 years and helping buyers find the perfect home is so exciting. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
In the midst of all the uncertainty around us, we all need a refuge, a place to call home. Come home to St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Hi, this is Robert Very of Four Homer Modeling. It's your turn this year to host your family for Thanksgiving. You can't wait to see your Aunt Jane and Uncle Bob. Mom and Dad are coming too, but you still haven't started that kitchen remodel you've talked about for years. Well, guess what? There's still time. Call me, Robert Very of Four Homer Modeling. We specialize in kitchens and baths, but more importantly, we specialize in you. Call me on my personal number, 314-477-6476. That's 477-6476.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
That pretty good guitar playing there, Phil?
It's awesome. Awesome.
That's some John Hyatt right there, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Saw him at Mississippi Nights.
Really?
Yeah. It's great.
When was that?
It was like
the 90s?
Yeah, late 90s.
No kidding. That's it. That's a legend, man.
Yeah, he's just great. Song called Drive South, everybody. Good morning this morning. Rock of the Hits on Phil Valencia's birthday. Good morning this morning. Happy birthday, Phil.
The one I'll never forget. Ever.
It's not often that a man gets another man dancing for him at 6 a.m. Or ever, for that matter.
Or ever.
But, man, listen, that's the least I can do for your birthday.
And the egg sandwiches, man. I really appreciate it, bro. I feel it, man. I do. I
for
really
sure,
do.
buddy. I love you, man. You're a
brother.
good
Love you
friend,
too,
a good
man.
And it was so cruel of us to even to really not take Mark's egg sandwich away from him even before we gave it to him. It was like,
right,
with his name on it.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Mark's a gamer, though. He's all right. I like him because he lets himself get humiliated. Oh, but anyway, now you got two, bro. Two, bro.
I'm gonna munch it.
I love making egg sandwiches. If all I had to do was make have an egg sandwich restaurant, I could roll those babies out.
Egg sandwich restaurant
all day
I'd be
long.
there, bro. I'd be there.
I know. Tell you. Anyway, yeah, Joe Biden's back. I got to get more through this thing. Talk about humiliation. I got to get through this tape of him in New Hampshire on Saturday. We'll have that for you. Some frivolity straight ahead.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump will be hitting the road later today, traveling to North Carolina. He'll headline a rally for Republican congressional candidate Dan Bishop. He's running in a special election that takes place tomorrow in the 9th District. Bishop running against Democrat Dan McCready. On Twitter this morning, the president describing McCready as a far-left sanctuary city supporter. Uncertainty looms over the Afghan peace process after President Trump canceled a planned meeting with Taliban leaders at Camp David. Mr. Trump called off the talks and a separate meeting with the Afghan president after a Taliban bombing that killed an American soldier and 11 other people.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo tells ABC's This Week.
President Trump said, I'm not going to take that deal. I'm not going to work with someone that can't deliver on their commitments.
Meanwhile, in Kabul,
we want peace. We want to end this meaningless, senseless war.
Afghan presidential spokesman Sadiq Siddiqui says if anyone's going to secure peace,
it should be the Afghan government and the Afghan people.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's government confirms it will suspend Parliament, and soon.
A spokesman has announced Parliament will be prorogued or suspended at the close of the day's business. Johnson had previously said he would send British lawmakers home sometime this week. The suspension limits Parliament's ability to block Johnson's plans for Brexit. Lawmakers want to stop a no-deal Brexit, and some have branded the suspension a coup. The government is expected to be defeated later when it asks lawmakers to agree to a snap election. They're refusing to back the Prime Minister's call for the October 15 poll, insisting a new law be implemented first. Charles de Ledesma, London.
4 crew members still missing after a cargo ship overturned caught fire off the coast of Georgia over the weekend. Wall Street, the Dow is up 37 points. The NASDAQ down 5.5. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still quite a few problems out there this morning. It's been a tough one. And 270 northbound, well, that one's just slow 44 to Manchester, but westbound side is still jammed up. Bell Fountain to Washington Elizabeth. 44 eastbound Bowles to Highway Drive, you'll see delays. Arsenal to Kings Highway heavy too. 6440 eastbound's jammed. 270 to Big Bend. Westbound, it's Kings Highway to 170. And 70 eastbound, you've got delays there. 270 to St. Charles Rock Road. 70 westbound Union to Lucas and Hunt. Still a pretty big backup there. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855, quote me, talked to him over the weekend. Just a great guy. He's a friend of mine, but he is also my trusty my trusty insurance agent. He could probably pass on the real estate level, too. The guy's so good at what he does. Anyway, we were talking just a little bit about the future and about his sponsorship of the show, and he has always been such a loyal guy, stepped up even when I was off the dial, and will continue to do so between off the dial for a little bit and back on the dial. And he's just a great guy, and he has supported me not only in terms of being a great, reliable, lovely sponsor of the Allman in the Morning Show, but also as my insurance agent. And with the Allstate Agency and his agency, which is top-notch in town here, 70 years experience between his entire staff. Everybody, okay, I'll give you an example. The other day, I'm sitting outside the Department of Revenue offices there because I got to get my damn plates renewed, which is a bear. And so, of course, I didn't have my insurance card because I never know where my insurance card is. I don't know why I don't ever know where my insurance card is, but I never know where it is. And I can be always sure that when I need it, I'm not going to have it. So what did I do? I texted Matthew, and I said, can you text me a copy of my insurance thing? This is like the 10th time I've done this. Can you text me a copy of my insurance? One time I was pulled over on the side of the road by a police officer, and I texted him, hey, can you text me a copy of my insurance pronto? Because I've got a police officer standing right outside my doorway here. And if you don't mind, it was a bink. It was like in 2 minutes I had my insurance. Thank goodness. Because the police officer was being very nice, but I still, of course, couldn't find it. I'm rooting around. The officer actually almost got so tired of me trying to find it, he almost just left. All right, no, never mind, dude. He was like, never mind. But no, I finally found it. And so that's the kind of service you're going to get when you, and that's just not me. He'll do that for anybody, and so will his staff. They're full service, low premiums, low deductibles, young driver programs, no brainer at all. They're not going to break the bank, and also does life insurance as well and home insurance as well. So if you're not with Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency at 855, quote me, you are paying too much. It's the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency.
Dennis Prager explains what the left is doing to America.
The left has removed God from American life. The left is removing liberty wherever possible. And e pluribus unum, out of many one, they consider that to be white nationalism. We had it too good. And for people to find meaning in life, they have opted to destroy.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. News, opinion, insight.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith, the #1 provider of oral sleep appliances in the United States. Learn more at cpapsucks.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hovels and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
That's true, man. Pulled over the side of the road. I'm like texting this guy, texting Matthew, police officer. You know, I was speeding as usual. and pulled me over. Nice enough guy, but.
No, they don't ask for registration anymore. That was like old school, right? License and registration. They don't say that anymore.
If they asked me for registration, I would just simply put my hands up. If they asked me for my registration, I would just simply put my hands behind my back at that point. Sir, you know what? Just arrest me because I don't have my registration. You kidding me? I couldn't. Yeah, it's bad enough trying to find your insurance card. Imagine finding your registration. Goodness gracious. Is there even such a thing?
That's why I was asking you, man. Does that go away? I mean, that's when you were first driving and you got pulled over. That would have been something they would have said to you, right? Like in the old days. License and registration. I don't know. I've never heard anybody say it, but it's always in every movie you ever see.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't even know what a registration is. Is it a piece of paper or something like in your glove box? Or I don't even know.
Back in those days, the people didn't. I don't know. They didn't mess with you as much as they do now. You know, I remember as a teenager working at Schnuck. I've told this story before, but I worked at the Schnuck Station restaurant, and I was a dishwasher, and we all had to wear those like train engine hat, those engineer hats, even washing dishes. It was a Schnuck Station restaurant. They had a pretty damn good hamburger, man. They had one of these. It was a cheddar burger. I think it was like the choo-choo cheddar burger or something that they named it. It was back when Schnucks had restaurants, and they were pretty good actually. And that was a hamburger that you'd use it like a mini ice cream scooper, and they'd put a big ball of cheddar cheese on the thing. That was good, man. Makes me hungry. Making me hungry, y'all. And so that was good. Anyway, but I didn't see that served very often because I was back in the place washing dishes with this deaf black dude who, of course, couldn't speak to me and couldn't hear me. So it's kind of like, okay. So he and I became good friends, even if we weren't able to communicate necessarily. And he tended to like some weed. So one day after work, we're out there. This is over in Brentwood. I think it's the men's. It's a Ace Hardware now, but it used to be Schnucks. And for a while, it was like a men's warehouse. But we had the. I don't know where Mark's getting his clothes now because I know that's where he probably did get his clothes. But anyway, we were out in the parking lot afterwards. And, of course, I wasn't, and I'm telling you the truth, I wasn't smoking pot. But he was, and of course, back in those days, as it is right now, when you see a black and a white dude together, that means something bad is happening. Like they're up to something, which is not true all the time. And I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but that's usually a red flag for a police officer. I'm just giving you a hint. Like when they see a black dude and a white dude in a car together, you're automatically being pulled over. And they will find something. And anyway, so he and I were in this parking lot, and we look sketchy as hell because he's black, I'm white, and our cars are parked together. And I'm leaving. We're off work, and he decides he's going to go ahead and bake in his car for a little bit. And so I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. Just about the time I'm getting in my car, my 71 banana yellow Impala, which I loved. I changed the water pump on that thing like 10 times, and finally I cracked the engine block, and that was gone. But anyway, we get pulled over by this Brentwood police officer, cats into the parking lot, and starts to come up on us like a shark, And he stops the car, gets out. And, of course, was almost gone. But anyway, he gets out, and then I got to get out. And then the other guy, and that was back in the day when police officers could actually ask you what's up without getting sued or, having 20 people protesting.
They didn't need the second car to come along.
Yeah,
and
right,
sit there
exactly.
And watch it.
Yeah. So then they ask, I wish I could remember his name. He's a really nice guy. They ask my fellow dishwasher, to get out of the car at that point because they can smell weed and everything else. And it's like, uh-oh. So they start to ask my buddy questions, and he's trying to tell them he can't hear them. Like he's deaf. And of course, at that time, the cop's like, "You're not deaf." He thought the guy was faking being deaf. And I'm glad I was there because I told the police officer, I said, he really is deaf. He cannot hear you. And he really couldn't read. I mean, it wasn't like people didn't get as much help as they do now in those situations. But he was smoking weed. So the cop's like, okay, so I can't talk to you. You can't talk to me or anything. But I'm supposed to let you smoke weed in your car. And I told the police officer at that point, I go, he can't hear you. So he finally, I think he took some of his stuff or whatever. He let him go. That was just like that. At that point, at that time, cops were just like, oh, what are you doing? Get out of here. That was basically enough. But now everything becomes a big ass deal. Like those protesters. Did you see the local coverage of the protesters at the Galleria? They're all, of course you didn't see close-ups of them because you know what they are? They're all a bunch of white hipsters fresh out of the Grove. You know what I mean? There aren't even any black people at the protest. There were some people like Tillman's sister was walking through the Galleria, but most of the protesters are all just a bunch of white hipsters with their dumb handkerchiefs over their face. What is that all about, by the way? What is that deal about with the with the handkerchief over your face? I don't know whether it's because you don't want people to see your face or because you just want to look like a badass, which you don't look like a badass. But anyway, they're all, and so I noticed Channel 4 covered the thing and never gave us a close-up of any of the people protesting. Because then you'd be like, why is that pasty white, fat gamer boy out here? Why did he leave his Nintendo to come out here to protest? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, black. It's like, dude, go back to your game box or whatever the hell it is. Your Xbox. Go back to your Xbox and your Pabst Blue Ribbon in your mother's basement and just leave us alone. Then there's always a 400-pound screeching, yelly female, white too, flipping off the cops, trying to get in the door, and it's just like
blue hair.
Well, no, these are young kids. Normally, during the Stockley thing, they bust them in from Webster Groves. They all be wearing their Crocs and their muumuus and protesting. But this time, it was all young people.
Was it a good showing?
No. Well, I don't know.
I didn't know how many people were there. I mean,
I couldn't tell because every single shot was from a mile away.
Oh, okay.
Except when they were at the door, and then you were like, what are you people doing? And I can understand that. I can understand the guy's family, although I don't understand them wandering through the mall. It's like you're on private property. People still think that mall is public property. I don't know. And unfortunately, the mall is like, yeah, go ahead, take anything you want. Most of those places have laws that are not laws, but rules that basically don't chase after a shoplifter. Now, I kind of live around the area, and one day, because I have a pool, and one day, 2 times, people have jumped over my fence running from the cops. Not kidding you. Not while I'm there, crazily enough, but they've run through the back of my yard. One day, I came back from someplace, and then went out and went to go out to the pool, and there was like a baby onesie on a hanger on one of my pool loungers. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, what is this? I almost got kind of freaked out, like somebody was leaving me some kind of message. I don't know what the message would be, but, we're going to turn you into a little baby. I'm like, what? Like a threat. Yeah, we found where you live, Allman. That's why we left a onesie on a hanger. So that you could be reminded we could turn you into a little baby and dress you anytime. I was trying to figure out, like, what message could this be? And, of course, I was spooked. I brought the thing in. I was still on its hanger. I brought the thing inside. And then when Andrea and the rest of the gang got home, I was like, what? There's a baby onesie out on this lounger. What is that? And they go, oh, yeah, that was somebody, a shoplifter from up the street. They were chased. They were being chased through my backyard, and they dropped these baby clothes they stole. Yeah, the onesie it never even occurred to me, though, for some reason. I thought it was like some kind of creepy message. You know what that was. But that's how crazy it gets. But these people all steal, and the cops at that point did chase somebody because they were so obviously thieving. But at the Galleria, they've got the criminal import terminal right next to the Galleria. These guys all pop in there, steal what they want to steal, and leave. That's what the Galleria is. Anyway, that was. Oh, I didn't get to Joe Biden. I will. I'm gonna ride him like a rented mule. Because I want to ride. Got my horse in. Well, that's a really bad. That's a bad development in music. That whole thing. What is that? Got my people in a bag. The black thing. What is that? That's a really bad move. What's that song called again? Do you know what it is? Ride and ride. It's like there's some black dude singing country. It's like, really? That's enough. But no, they still play it all the time. It's like, whatever. Anyway, I got to go. 844-855-1380. The call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Saturday mornings at 9 are now all about the house. Do you ever wish you could get an hour with a general contractor or building inspector to ask all your home maintenance questions? Well, About the House with Troy Galloway is exactly that. Every Saturday morning at 9, Troy Galloway will spend an hour giving home advice and taking your questions. Submit your questions now on Facebook at the Galloway Building Services Facebook page. And tune in to About the House with Troy Galloway every Saturday morning at 9 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Gia Valenti, and I personally invite you to tune into my show, Moxie Minutes with Gia, Saturday mornings at 10 to learn about all things parenting. Moxie Minutes with Gia is the closest you'll get to that manual that doesn't come with your kids. Parenting experts will join me to discuss sleep habits, homework, mental health, and so much more. Submit your questions on Facebook at the Learn with Moxie Facebook page and tune in to Moxie Minutes with Gia every Saturday morning at 10. Brought to you by Gold Shield Security, real police officers who are there when you need them.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan. Join me on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about your health, things to get you from awareness into action and how to change your life in a way that's never been discussed before so that you can then figure out exactly what's going on for you to best suit your lifestyle to get you back to doing the things that you need to do, want to do, and love to do within your life. So join me, Dr. Vadan, on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at razorbackarmory.com.
If you want to be successful in business, surround yourself with good people. If you want to be a successful contractor, then you've got to team up with the right supplier. Rick Pogue here. Arrowhead Building Supply understands the minute your day starts, time is money. With our exclusive 315 service platform, we offer 3-hour delivery to your job site or 15-minute pickup on anything in stock, be it siding, roofing, decks, windows, doors, gutters, or even stone. By the way, you will talk to a real person when you call Arrowhead. No voicemail. Call or stop by the location near you and let us help you grow your business today. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey neighbor, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. We sell a house every 30 hours. We list it, we sell it, and you get to move on to your next adventure. Let's face it, life is busy, and who has hours to wait for strangers to show up so you can show them your home? Not to mention the tons of legal paperwork to sift through. I have been selling homes for over 23 years. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Dennis Prager, this morning at 11. Now, more Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Yeah, this song, this Old Town Road song with Billy Ray Cyrus in it. I'm trying to figure out, like, really.
I'm gonna take my horse through the Old Town Road.
I mean, really? It's enough of that, people. You know what I mean? That's just enough. We get it. Okay? You're black people singing country music, and I get it. It's really rocking. But you know what it did, though? It was like number one on the country charts, which shows you how stupid some country music fans are. It's like, how dare you do that to your industry by making that number one? What's wrong with you? Anyway, that's the deal. By the way, I just got notified, too, over the transom that this Nate Smith individual, who is the target of multiple allegations of impropriety, including with minors, literally this morning, right after I posted the Radio Free Allman Investigates post about the failure of Safe Sport, a congressionally created program to look out, seemingly, for some young women in the USA water ski community and sports world. And again, Nate Smith has not been convicted of any crime. He was banned for 90 days for assault of a woman. But he was never. You read the complaints against him, most of you people would be in jail, or you'd be charged with a crime. But maybe these are allegations that are easily proven false. I don't know. Whatever the case is, the guy gets like 90-day ban, and people are outraged about it. And I'll talk to them throughout this week. But he was also a mentor at the time for young women. And literally, this is how Orwellian this whole story really is, because I just got over the transom this Instagram post from Team Germany. And this is what it says. Congratulations to our teammate and mentor, Nate Smith, for winning the title of the California Pro-Am 2019. You are our role model. That's from Team Germany Sports. So he's a mentor for young Germans now. Was a mentor for young Americans, but I don't know whether they've seen this. Again, innocent before proven guilty. But these allegations are out there, and in the world of the Me Too movement, especially when you have a congressionally assigned outfit that's sole purpose is to monitor this kind of stuff, and obviously really not kind of doing it, that becomes a deal. This was specifically created for situations like this, and yet this congressionally created Safe Sport program in the wake of the U2 movement, or Me Too movement, is obviously doesn't have a whole lot of teeth. I got to get this, Joe. Listen to Joe Biden from New Hampshire. This guy is, first of all, he's reading from this script written for him, and he's bumbling and coughing, and here.
Donald Trump does pose an existential threat to this.
That's existential. See, the guy, it's like, dude, he's so lame, this guy. And by the way, first of all, I've gone through this before. I don't have to give you my what is an existential threat spiel again. But I still don't know what that means. I mean, I don't even know whether the word existential is necessary when you call something a threat. Because isn't that what a threat is? Like an immediate... So when you use existential threat, it's like saying completely destroyed. It's like it's either destroyed or it's not. But there's no... I love to hear these reporters and stuff covering fires. The building was completely destroyed. It's like, you mean destroyed? So existential threat, I think you don't need existential there. So crazy old geezer Joe could have saved him some trouble by just simply cutting to the threat without having to try to pronounce existential. He could have just, avoided it.
Character of this nation. Donald Trump does pose an extra threat to this. It's not hypothetical, his threat to this nation.
Yeah.
He does pose a real threat.
Yeah, see, that's
standing in the world, our very democracy.
That's where you could have just, and he finally said, he gave up saying a word. Like that's ground, that makes him unfit to be president right there. You can't say a word and you just give up. It's crazy. He's coughing through the whole thing, and again, I don't enjoy and joyfully approach individuals with their physical afflictions and things like that. You kind of feel sorry for them. But Joe's the one calling me a racist and you a racist, and he's out there calling our president unfit and a threat to this country. So, you know what? All bets are off. I'm decorum and all those little niceties and politeness go off the rails when you're in a battle zone, buddy. And that's exactly where you are, Joe Biden, and it's not going to get any easier. 844-855-1380, the call, Tammy.com. Real Estate Listener Line. We are live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studios.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump will be hitting the road later today. He travels to North Carolina to headline a rally for Republican congressional candidate Dan Bishop, running in a special election that takes place tomorrow in the 9th District of North Carolina. A rescue team says it has heard noises from inside a cargo ship where four crew members are missing after the massive vessel overturned and caught fire over the weekend off the coast of Georgia. But rescuers have yet to access the huge vessel lying on its side off St. Simon's Island. Uncertainty looms over the Afghan peace talks after President Trump canceled a planned meeting with Taliban leaders at Camp David. On Wall Street, stocks modestly higher right now. The Dow is up about 86 points. The S&P 5 points higher. The Nasdaq is up 2. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Our roads have almost cleared up completely. One delay, and it's through roadwork. 44 eastbound's backed up Bowles to the Merrimack River Bridge through that ongoing construction. But everything else now is looking good. We have a lot of roadwork in place. One of those projects, 64 eastbound at 15th Street, a right lane closed until 3 o'clock with roadwork. And you'll see construction on the on-ramp from Watson to westbound 44. That remains closed with roadwork until the end of October. And 44 eastbound before 270, that roadwork there until the end of the year. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny and it will be hot. Today's high 92. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 74. Hot and humid tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds, high 93. Cloudy, very warm tomorrow night, low 75. Some sunshine, hot and humid on Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Reed with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Summertime in St. Louis. If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith. Come see what your smile can be at Dentistry with TLC.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Yes, everybody. Good morning this morning. The sandwichless Mark Hasen. Come on in, buddy. Man, you had a sandwich for like 5 seconds. You had an egg sandwich, like it was in the palm of your hand. It was within your grasp. It was right there. It was right there in front of you.
That's a shame too.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
I love
Excuse
those
me.
sandwiches.
Excuse me. This is called Allman in the Morning. It was right there. I'm just kidding. It was right. It was right there, and yet you snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. As Phil said, "No, I'm gonna eat that," and he used the term "I'm gonna."
Probably mailed it to Trump.
I'm gonna eat that. He said. Didn't even use 2 words. I'm gonna eat that, and you know what? I had to give it to the birthday boy, 51 years old today.
I've had the sandwich before. It's outstanding, and I can just enjoy it in my memory.
Yes. Yes.
It works fine.
And it was all still warm and everything, man. I had my way of doing things, so it was all like ready to go. But I think that's a metaphor for the future of the Democratic Party today. I did see yesterday my first Pete bumper sticker, which looked so pansy, especially on the car it was on, one of these baby cars. And it wasn't even on a Prius, which, a Prius compared to this particular car is like a 67 Cadillac with fins. That's how pansy this little car was. And it had Pete on it, like this little Pete.
You mean like one of those little Mercedes smart cars that one person can barely fit in?
Almost. It was almost. There's one that's one step above it. It's like a Mini Cooper, but it's tinier than a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I like those Mini Coopers. They're nice.
Well, at one point I thought they were kind of cool until they were totally not. Then I was like, no. I was like, no.
I think I'll go get a Carmen Ghia.
Oh, yeah, that's even better.
Those are nice.
All right, so black unemployment is historic lows. Please see if you can dismantle it. Thank you very much.
Well, so easily.
How?
Because there are charts that you can find all over the internet from the United States government that show that the income of black people versus white people is plunging. The jobs that they've got, they've got jobs, okay, like $5 an hour. Not even minimum wage. I mean, they're making nothing. They're being destroyed. All this talk about how great it is. If you look at the numbers, they're getting massacred.
What numbers are you where are you drawing these? Where are you getting charts?
Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Right.
I know. Deep State. They're lying. I understand. I know how this works.
Probably.
Yeah.
Those guys.
No, really, their income is dropping dramatically because the jobs they've got are worthless jobs that no one would do.
Right. I remember this, and this, and you talk about memory. This is what I remember when Bush was president, and something good would happen with the economy, and it would always be like the quality of the jobs mattered. Like when Obozo was president, the quality of the jobs never mattered. It was like, oh, no, come on. People are unemployed. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, and now, though, now it's back to the Bush era. Yeah, but the jobs themselves aren't really quality jobs. It's like that's the thing we're hearing. The issue is, though, do you really think that a black person who's employed after not having had access to the market for as long as some people in certain areas have had, do you really think that that's their thing, that's the thing that's bothering them, that you could go to the inner city today and hear somebody complaining about the quality of their job?
If white earnings are going this way and black earnings are going this way, which is what you get on the chart, then what are you talking
is
about?
That really from the labor statistics
It really
Bureau?
is. I sent it to you in the past, like about a month or two ago. It's in your text message file that you throw away because it's just not the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you took a Sharpie and you made
exactly
you made the cone bigger.
That's the
when
point.
It's talked about the wages issue.
That's exactly.
I don't think people are. I don't think that's going to be your argument. Although we do have your friend Don Lemon over there. Apparently took a break from getting a snoutful, and was on the air talking about. And this is another thing we keep hearing. And Lemon's made this kind of his thing where he talks about how the black voters should be, and this is what was called racist, which I don't believe is racist. When Deborah Messing talked about how black voters have to be mentally ill, I really don't. I don't see how that's really racist to me when you say that. I get it. It's things people say. I don't see how that's racist. So I'm not playing that Deborah Messing, is a racist thing. But this whole idea of trying to guilt blacks into voting against Trump and not following him was perpetrated by none other than Don Lemon here on the on this computer here. Check this out.
Okay, so let me just, because I'm going to put, if you can put those back up, just so you know. So under Obama, as you said, March 2010, 16.8%. The end of his presidency, 7.9%. That is a difference of 8.9%. Okay? So Trump's highest was 8%. That was in February of 2017. Now it's at 5.5%. That is down 2.5%. So we have 8.9% in the Obama presidency and down by 2.5% in this presidency. As you said, it is good news. It is a good trend, but it didn't start under this president, and the numbers actually declined much stronger under the former president. How do black voters in 2020 weigh these low employment numbers against the president's racist behavior, Joseph? Charlottesville, slamming Baltimore, Rhode.
Yeah, okay. So I got to hand it to Don Lemon. He actually can navigate numbers, which is good. But this idea somehow that and this has been a problem in the black community for some time now, which is it's the soft bigotry of low expectations. And this is a typical example of why blacks don't succeed in this country, because other blacks put them down. This Don Lemon thing right here is probably one of the quintessential reasons why blacks do not succeed in America when they could, is because they have some Don Lemon in their neighborhood or in their house telling them, you can't do that. You being playing that kind of game. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I really disagree.
Yeah, you do.
Completely. And the reason why is because systemic racism is far more dangerous than some guy who happens to be a bigot. This country is a racist country. It's not like I'm mad at the country. We've got a problem that goes back to the beginning, and we're never fixing it, and that is troublesome. And if you want to fix that, then let's go do it. And you can do it by starting in the inner cities, which you certainly, I know you support that. And where's any of that happening? Because we're too busy, as you point out, drawing Sharpie maps and he still won't give up on that. He's still arguing about it this morning.
Why should he? When the Weather Service, when all he's doing is trying to warn people. We spent an entire week listening to these harpies in the news media tell us how this hurricane was going to descend on Florida and batten down the hatches. Hell, Fox News even had its own set made for Hurricane Dorian. So the idea that the president is saying, hey, you know what, this could squeak on into Alabama, because let me tell you something, Canada got the hurricane? It went to Canada, for crying out loud.
And here's what he could do, but he just doesn't have it in his brain because he's so, let's not even do that. Here's what he could do. He could go to the Bahamas, and he could help the people in the Bahamas.
Our president doesn't belong in the Bahamas.
Not throw paper towels at people. He could go to the Bahamas. He could actually help them, transfer gasoline to people. He could, pick up those gas cans, and he could just actually do some work.
My president does not belong in the Bahamas.
Then he could go.
I don't want my president in the Bahamas.
Then he could go all the way up the coast and help everybody.
And you slipped in that whole paper towel thing. That was totally overblown. He wasn't throwing paper towels at people. This idea, had Obama done the same thing, he would have been suggested for sainthood, for crying out loud. Everything that dude did was given kid glove treatment. So I know what you're talking about with that. I don't even know. I can't remember what hurricane it was, but it was the president trying to help people.
The Puerto Ricans are still talking about.
Oh, the Puerto Ricans aren't still talking about it.
Oh, they
still
are.
talking about their corrupt government.
Yeah,
are they talking about those guys?
They are. And look, I had one of the top people from Puerto Rico on the air here about 2 weeks ago, and he's back and forth between Puerto Rico and
what does one of the top people from Puerto Rico look like?
Political people in Puerto Rico who run for offices and win and are part of the revolution over there. If
somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I know you have 4 hours of radio to do. Would you like to have one of the top people from Puerto Rico on your show?" I'd be like, "No."
It's the United States.
It's the
United States. It's the United States of America.
I'm for Puerto Rican statehood. Okay, so you're talking to a guy who doesn't mind if Puerto Rico becomes the 53rd state, according to Barack Obama.
Right.
I don't mind.
Puerto Ricans are
I like
us.
them. Right.
They're
Some of my
us.
best friends are Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
I get
that's
it.
all right. They're us.
But still, I don't. They're not a state yet, first of all. They're a territory.
They're American citizens.
Did you see what happened to some of the other top people in Puerto Rico? They were sent to jail.
And they've been arrested. There.
Let me ask you this. Jim Cramer. Do you like Jim Cramer?
Not really.
Why?
Because I know too much about what he does and the little game he plays on TV, which is fine.
What do you mean the little game he plays on TV?
Look, he's a good TV guy.
He's money guy.
Yeah, he's problematic.
Right. Well,
I wouldn't follow anything he says. Trust me.
Right.
But he's fine on TV.
Here's what he says about he is on the Squawk Box here, and here he is talking about the economy.
Both sides now are in a position where they're both willing to give a little bit to come to an arrangement, or are they both more set in their ways, you think?
Well, I think that the President Trump is set in his ways because he doesn't see any weakening. I mean, look at the jobless report today. Someone earlier said that manufacturing is in recession. Well, manufacturing's been in recession in this country for ages. What I'm surprised at is how strong the consumer is. I think that the Chinese still need it more than we do. I know when I say that, everyone just says, well, wait a second, that's a nice bias that you're showing. It's statistical. I just think that our economy is very strong.
I can tell you that is something that President Trump feels like he feels like China is in. They want to make a deal because they're hurting more than we're hurting. That's a fact.
If we got the Fed to lower rates to where the bond market says it should be, then I think that I really wouldn't worry about a recession. I think the only people really talking about a recession is us.
Yeah, and that's Jim Cramer. Now, Jim Cramer is, as much as I've almost wanted him to, and like, whoa. I wish he'd be more political, whatever. I've never heard Jim Cramer be political before. I've never heard him opine on something that was going to help or hurt a president. And yet, here he is on this Squawk Box thing talking about how the only people talking about a recession are us. I mean, and now it'd be different if Kramer constantly talked politics and constantly talked about Trump and this and that. But the reality is this is a rarity, and that should mean something.
He pretty much sticks with the stock market, which is good. That's his program, and that's what he should do. There's a little bit of a shell game going on there from time to time. However, I'm not saying he's stupid. And this business about how strong our economy is, if he were here, we would have a conversation that your eyes would glaze over and you'd say, okay, let's go to a break, because it would bore you, but it would also be very significant in terms of what the Fed really is doing and what they should do and what they could do in the face of what's happening around the world. Because if you look at what's going on in Europe and China and Japan, you would know that our country has significant problems in front of it, and it's not being caused by Donald, but I can't wait until they wrap it right around his neck. They will. Right. You didn't answer the question. You just went on about Russia, and what did you say? You even mentioned Germany in there, I think, somewhere. Talk about eyes glazing Europe.
Over. Okay. Well, here's the thing. As Jim Cramer pointed out, the consumer strength is out of this world right now. Consumer confidence. You can go on a Monday afternoon. I guarantee you that mall over there, in spite of the fact that it's infested with people who just hopped off the criminal import station terminal, is you can't find a parking space over there. Yeah, consumers are going crazy. It's a lagging indicator. Consumer confidence is a lagging indicator, so stop watching it. It's not doing you any good. Okay, thank you very much. Because, I guarantee you, when it's down, it's headline news. You get a siren on Drudge Report. Have a good rest of your day, brother.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Hi, this is Gia, the host of Moxie Minutes with Gia, and you might be wondering why I even do this radio thing. Ultimately, my show is all about communication and education. I founded Learn with Moxie to help our kids to become better communicators in a screen-obsessed world. If you're interested in getting to Learn with Moxie curriculum in your school, contact me at learnwithmoxie.com. That's learnwithmoxie.com. And as always, keep talking.
Are you unhappily single? Does your marriage or relationship feel hard? I get a lot of emails from readers who are struggling in their marriage or relationship. Unfortunately, the help an individual or couple needs can rarely be answered in a series of emails. For this reason, I offer relationship coaching for those who are struggling to find love and for couples whose marriage or relationship feels stuck in a negative cycle. Go to SuzanneBanker.com and sign up today for a coaching session with me and learn the tools you need to find love and sustain it. It's so much easier than you think. That's SuzanneBanker.com.
I've been trying to lose weight for 12 years now, but nothing ever works long term. Low carb, low fat, keto, fasting. I need help.
Hello, this is Dr. Jim Hankinson of Back to Wellness Chiropractic. I am the leading doctor when it comes to weight loss management in St. Louis. We offer a proven program that will help you lose weight and make healthy lifestyle changes. To learn more, go to stlbackdoc.com. That's stlbackdoc.com. And don't forget to listen to my weekly wellness show every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. right here on The Answer.
Hi, this is Scott Ferguson, the Director of Outreach at St. Matthew. There's something exciting happening at St. Matt's, and I'd like to invite you to experience it. We have a service at 9 a.m. with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra, and our contemporary service at 11 a.m. with our praise band. We can't wait to see you there. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great. Since you're gonna buy a boat, you need a hitch. Oh, and what about a floor liner? Let's keep it looking nice. Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. Selling top brands for trucks like Bug Shields, step bars, and bed liners for over 20 years. See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois, or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now with free installation and a lifetime warranty on vent visors and Bug Shields.
Interested in purchasing a silencer? Stop by and talk to the pros at Razorback Armory, the region's only full-service, silver-level silencer shop dealer. With our state-of-the-art all-digital process, we will be with you every step of the way. For your account setup, fingerprints, photographs, and federal forms. All are done promptly and professionally in shop while you wait. Stop in and check out our vast selection of silencers and other NFA items at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in De Pere, and online at RazorbackArmory.com.
Are you ready to sell your house but don't know who to trust with a listing? I'm Tammy Mitchell-Hines, and I sell a house every 30 hours. From staging your house to filling out the paperwork, my team is here to guide you step by step through the process of selling your house and getting the most value from it. Go to calltammy.com and let us do the work for you. If you buy or sell with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380.
844-855-1380.
And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
'Cause I know our love still lives on. It'll be again exactly like it was. 'Cause I believe in the power of love. When you're close, I can feel the power. When it's love, I can always tell. Love for me is the best thing now. It's something that I know so well. Hold me closer in every minute of every hour. Feel the power of love. Yeah. Hold me tighter and take me higher and feel the fire of the power of love.
You know, this is an interesting point about the news media and its coverage of President Trump, but now this is getting good. Because it turns out that the news media is so obsessed with attacking President Trump that they're eating up a majority of their airtime attacking President Trump. And you know what that means? That means that the Democrats are barely getting any airtime. Idiots. So whatever the news media's ultimate goal is, their obsession with President Trump is defeating that. Because you know they want to get Trump out of there. So this is my guys over at Media Research, and they've tracked this from June 1st to August 31st. MRC analysts found that networks devoted 838 minutes of airtime, 14 hours in 2 months, to coverage of President Trump personally, and the vast majority was negative. Now, keep in mind, they say this report only examines coverage of Trump himself, not generic stories about his administration's activities or those of other top-ranking officials, which accounted for an additional 213 minutes of evening news airtime. So when they're not trolling President Trump, they're trolling somebody in his administration, because there's nobody getting positive coverage from his administration. The airtime devoted to Trump was 11 times greater than that spent on the leading Democratic candidate, Joe Biden, and vastly more than networks gave Kamala Harris, Pete, and Elizabeth Warren. So while during that period of time, 838 minutes was devoted to hating on President Trump and their fake news, they gave Joe Biden 74 minutes. That's like 1/9 of the time they are delivering they're delivering to President Trump. 1/9. And Mayor Pete got 15 minutes in that period of time. 15 minutes compared to Trump, anti-Trump, 838. So if the Democrats are trying in any way, shape, or form to get their message across, whatever that message happens to be, I don't know, the networks aren't letting them, oddly enough, because they're too busy obsessed with President Trump and all that kind of stuff. And Elizabeth Warren got even less, 14 minutes. Now, I don't know whether that's really necessary or not. Maybe they don't need the kind of coverage because they get it everywhere else, and positive coverage and love and uncritical. And by the way, when they did get coverage, it was always glowing. Interesting. Maxie, I'm curious about this Mr. Rogers movie. Are you? You seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet. I watched the documentary called Won't You Be My Neighbor, which was wonderful and which was surprisingly shut out by the Oscars last year, which really, really was a big surprise. But the new movie with Tom Hanks looks great. I mean, is there better casting than Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers?
No. I mean, I looked at the video, and it's like, really, he's actually very convincing. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to go on in this movie.
Well, you know, if it's based on an actual event, there was this reporter who spent a long weekend with him and was basically saying, "Don't ruin my childhood by being a horrible person." And Fred Rogers was not a horrible person. He actually was who you would hope him to be, and that's what I saw in that documentary called "Won't You Be My Neighbor." And so, hopefully, this movie, which is called "Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood," will be just as good. So,
yeah, I always watched Mr. Rogers. Well, even as a kid, I was kind of like, "Well, that's kind of weird." Because you can tell he's the voice of the Queen. It's like, that's Mr. Rogers doing that voice. Come here, little pally. And like, but nonetheless, I always, and it doesn't surprise me in the least that he's actually was truly a nice guy. Because he for some reason I could tell there wasn't like some weird darkness about him, you know?
Well, and every single other celebrity ever put on any kind of pedestal has had this horrible dark side, and it seems like Fred Rogers didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he had anxiety. He was human, but he seemed like a really salt of the earth guy.
And Tom Hanks seems really cool too. So, we'll follow. I didn't mean to catch you off guard there. I just was curious about that. All right, brother. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Happy birthday, Phil.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Congressional lawmakers have a lot on their plate as they return to work following their summer break.
Democrats are pressing Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell for action on a number of issues, including election security and, following this summer's mass shootings, gun violence. But McConnell has promised a Grim Reaper strategy focused on
news media, and this is, happy birthday, Phil.